Hey, everybody. Welcome. So glad to be here with all of you tonight. We are going to have yet another great late night conversation. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Spoken of the American century. I say that the century on which we are entering can be and must be the century of the common man.
A radical redistribution of economic power.
I mean, we know that racism is just a byproduct of capitalism. Everything would be all right if everything was put back in the hands of the people.
We need a government that will make sure Americans are taken care of and organize the economy to serve the people, not the profits of a wealthy few.
We now have the techniques and the resources to get rid of poverty.
We got to start getting out there with the people.
Get out of the movement and get to the masses.
We need a government of action.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. So glad that you're here with us tonight. It's going to be yet another great late night conversation. Going to update you on events happening around the country, talk some politics with you all. Yeah, it's going to be great. So, the way we always do things, I give my opening remarks, which are then followed by a roll call. And after I give my opening remarks, and after I do the roll call, then I answer your questions for the rest of the night. That's the way we do things here. So it's going to be a great show tonight. Couple announcements before we get started. First things first, morning messages every morning on the CPI YouTube channel. We have morning messages, and we have great morning messages. Our members are stepping up to the plate. Different members doing different morning messages. It's great. We're going to have another morning message tomorrow from Chicago, from our team that's in Chicago. Rachel made a great morning message this morning. I'm probably going to show it. So tune in for the morning messages on the CPI YouTube channel. I'll drop the link for tomorrow's morning message. You can set your reminder. They premiere every morning at 6 a.m. And you can start your day with revolutionary hope and optimism. It's just a great thing that we at CPI are doing. It's really, really a great service that we have to give people the ability to start their day with revolutionary hope and optimism. Get plugged in with a community of people who are just like you, that are living in this pessimistic world and trying to do their best. And the morning messages lately have been great. Like I said, we're probably going to show one of them on the stream tonight. So I think that's really, really great. Now, I did want to let you know, for those who may not be aware as of yet, it's easier than ever to submit your own morning message. If you would like to make a morning message as a way to support the community, by all means do it. We have a mechanism to submit a morning message. Boom. With that link, you can film it right there. You can upload it from your phone. And it's a way to make morning messages, as a way to support the community, be there for other people, show other people what you know, share some inspiration that you've got. And so this is a way that we can all be there and support each other. So I wanted to let you all know about that. That's really important. The other thing, I want to thank everybody, and we're going to be talking about this tonight, but I want to thank everybody who has donated so far to the GoFundMe to help us distribute these books at the Democratic National Convention. I've got a lot to share about that tonight, but if you haven't donated yet to help us offset the cost of printing 2,000 books and, lugging them to Chicago and bringing in volunteers from out of town, etc., please go to the GoFundMe and donate because it has not been cheap to do everything that we've needed to do. So if you can donate, that would be great. If you can give us just $5-10, whatever you can do on the GoFundMe, that would make it easier for us to handle the stress of our people being there and getting the work done. So by all means, help us out on the GoFundMe. And other than that, I'm just going to jump right into the remarks for tonight. But for those of you who may not be familiar, just a quick reminder. First, we do the opening remarks, whatever it is I want to talk about. Then from there, we do the roll call where I find out who's watching, and we get to interact with each other, find out who is watching in our vast community. And then from there, I answer people's super chat questions for the rest of the night. So if you got something you want me to talk about in the second half of the show, any questions you want me to answer, boom, send me a super chat. That's a great way to do it. So we're going to jump right in to the opening remarks for tonight. Folks, I don't know if you saw, but the Democrat National Convention opened tonight in Chicago. I believe Joe Biden is probably speaking right now and, giving his remarks. But later this week, Thursday night, they'll be coronating Kamala Harris as their candidate. But the Democrat National Convention this year has been one that involved a lot of people protesting outside, especially around the issue of Palestine and the ongoing murder of the Palestinians in Gaza, the bombardment of Gaza. It's been a big protest that's happened today. There were thousands of people in the streets to oppose the convention. This was the main march.
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace!
Yeah, that was the lead banner. They've got their smoke devices there for Free Palestine with green for the Palestinian flag. And they were out there by the thousands. Now, a lot of people that are friends of ours and a number of CPI members were there. And I'll get to that in a minute. Our friend Jimmy Dore, he walked around and showed the insane security they've got in downtown Chicago. This is Jimmy Dore.
So we could do it. So imagine if they had this kind of urgency at the U.S.-Mexico border. Look, this whole street is shut off.
Right here, closed down.
All blocked out.
The neighbors don't know it.
The neighbors are, look all the way down the street. This whole street is blocked out. Look at all the barriers.
Down there's the
crazy.
police.
We are nowhere near the Democratic Convention. Nowhere near it. Let's keep walking. Come walk this way. You see this? They're fencing in the entire fucking neighborhood. They're fencing in the entire. This is unbelievable. This is the richest neighborhood in Chicago. They're fencing the whole thing in. They're making the whole city a prison. That's what it seems like. What are they doing? This is Yves Saint Laurent. Show what this is. This is out in front of Yves Saint Laurent. They're making it like a prison. Imagine if they could do this at the U.S.-Mexico border. I know it sounds crazy because we all know they could. They could do it here in the middle of the Chicago. We're not anywhere near where the convention is happening. We're nowhere near. Why do you keep backing up? Come on. There's Versace over there. Yves Saint Laurent over here. There's Hermes right there. There's Christian Dior right there. Look what they're doing. Why here? Why are they doing that? Look, it's like you're walking out of a prison. This is really happening. This is really happening here. This is Veronica Beard. This is really like we're inside of a prison. This is really happening. They're fencing in the whole Chicago. I don't understand what they're doing. So I'm pretty sure this is the Ritz-Carlton, right? I'm pretty sure this is the Ritz-Carlton.
Is it the Ritz-Carlton or is it the Wisteria?
Oh, this is the Waldorf Astoria?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And so here they
So
are.
tomorrow I'll be locked in.
So, well, this is really what they're doing in Chicago. We are nowhere fucking near.
How far do you think we are from the convention center?
Well, you know what? Let me ask Waze. How far is it to the United Center? We are 3 miles away. 3 miles.
Better lock down.
3 miles away from the United Center.
Time to lock in.
So they're just gonna fence in everything. Look over here. Show over here. They're just fencing in.
Oh, this looks like, is this going to be locked down?
I guess so.
Yeah. That's how insanely locked down Chicago is right now. And now there was a protest march that happened, raising the issue of Palestine. And the big moment was when the protesters broke through the fence. And that moment, certainly exploded across the internet. I've got a couple different videos of that. And the protesters broke through the fence. Here, I got another couple of
occupation now! The occupation now!
All righty. Alrighty. This is kind of amusing. I guess not only did they break through the fence, but they took like pieces of the fence into the crowd. Yeah, so that was pretty wild. Now, we at the Center for Political Innovation, we launched the project that you saw me and Peter talking about, where we raised the money and we arranged for 1,000 copies of this book and 1,000 copies of our booklet, Do You Believe in Growth, to be sent to Chicago. I brought them to Chicago myself with a friend of mine who gave me a lift, and we brought them to Chicago, and now our team is out there distributing them. And I am honored to see that not only did people notice it at the Jimmy Dore show on Friday, where we were distributing the books, but people noticed it today. We got a shout out from, of all people, Bellingcat. Bellingcat decided to give us a shout out. Hold on, let me put the image on the screen from Bellingcat. Yes, a reporter from Bellingcat was amused to see that our book was being distributed. So he tweeted this out. Gotta love it, right? Just showed up at today's big Palestine protest in Chicago's Union Park. There are massive lines for the bathroom and free Caleb Maupin nonsense. Great cover. Can't imagine why it got banned on Amazon. Well, there you go. Our team was there all day handing out books, and people noticed it. And our book has been very, very well appreciated. We handed them out at the David Rovick's Poor People's Army concert last night. We'll be handing them out throughout the week. And we might be joined later tonight by one of our volunteers in Chicago, depending on if they can get to the webcam and hop on to give us an update about what things are like. But we're out there doing our good work. And, our members were there distributing books as widely as they possibly could, giving them out to everyone, giving interviews. I understand interviews were given to a number of different outlets. Epoch Times interviewed CPI members. We were interviewed by Middle Eastern Television. We gave commentary to many, many different networks. appeared on the Do Dissidents stream. I'll be cutting that clip at some point. Just really great what our members have been doing. We had a good team of 3 people that were out there today. We had 4 people 5 people at the Jimmy Dore show on Friday. We're going to have more people at the protests that go on throughout the week. And we have 1,000 copies of the Kamala Harris book to give away. Our book exposing Kamala Harris and what she's all about, and all of that. Someone sent me this, and I was really moved to see this. Didn't see this coming, but, we're big fans of Jimmy Dore. So Jimmy Dore was at the protest today, and he took a photo, and look what he's holding. There's Jimmy Dore taking a photo with somebody, and what does he have in his hand? Why, he's got nothing but the CPI Do You Believe in Growth booklet. So look at that, right? We are making an impact, right? With our message of anti-imperialism, of optimistic, constructive socialism, spreading the truth about Kamala Harris and who she really is. Our team is out there in the streets making a difference. And Kamala Harris is being coronated. I actually put together a clip, because this book needs to be everywhere. I am disappointed by the Trump campaign and how they're trying to portray Kamala Harris, because they're almost trying to make it sound like she's a permissive person. Like they've got the story wrong. This is who Kamala Harris really is, right? I will show you who Kamala Harris really is. And this is who the American people need to understand Kamala Harris is. This video I would like to get everywhere. Everyone needs to see this video. Every working class person, everyone who's ever had a family member locked up or a family member who's struggled with drugs or anyone, people need to see who Kamala Harris really, really is. I wrote a whole book about who she really is that was banned from Amazon for 7 days right after she got the nomination. Then on top of that, I decided to basically take the message of this book and put it into a clip. So this is 2 minutes of who Kamala Harris really is.
That with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
So I learned at a very young age the power.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
The power.
Well, this was a little controversial in San Francisco. And frankly, my staff went bananas. They were very concerned because we didn't know at the time whether I was going to have an opponent in my reelection.
And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. The power.
She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor.
As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick.
The power. Power. They could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community. All because of the swipe of my pen.
Usually the job comes with a badge.
The power.
And there is often an artistic rendering of said badge on your stationery. And I have a huge stick.
The power. The power. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed.
And I have a huge stick.
So I learned at a very young age the power.
Held up the letter, said if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail.
The power.
Yes, we achieved intended effect.
The power. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed.
And I have a huge stick.
When you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Yeah, that's who Kamala Harris really is. Now, one screenshot that I included in that montage is a really important one, right? So this mother, her special needs child missed school, God forbid, and she ended up in handcuffs because of Kamala Harris. Can you believe this, right? A single mom with a special needs child ended up in handcuffs because Kamala Harris was on a power trip about she was going to prosecute parents for truancy. A single mother with a special needs child gets dragged out of her house in handcuffs because of Kamala Harris. What a sick, sick woman. Now, that compilation that I made exposing who Kamala Harris really is, you can tweet it out. I want as many people to see the video as possible. So I made this video compilation. You can tweet it out. Go and tweet it out right now. Get it to as many people as we can. Send it to all your Republican friends. Send it to all your liberal friends. Tweet it out. Promote it. Let's get this video everywhere. Show people who Kamala Harris really, really is, because people don't know what she's really like. People don't know the whole story. And the Trump campaign, I must say, because they're trying to please law enforcement and other things, they're doing a pretty crappy job of talking about who Kamala Harris really is. So, get this video everywhere. If you want to take some time to be an activist right now, if you're looking for a way you can make a contribution, get this video everywhere. Rip it and put it on your YouTube channel. Get it everywhere. Everyone needs to know who Kamala Harris really is. People need to know that laugh. People need to know who she really is. I wrote a book about it. I made this video on it. People need to see who Kamala Harris really, really is. And I mean, what she did as a prosecutor, she had absolutely no regard for other people whatsoever. And I've seen them try to cover up this prosecuting parents for truancy story, even though she bragged about it, even though she laughed about it, etc. I've seen them try and cover it up. I've seen them try to say, oh, no one ended up going to jail. Well, this woman ended up in handcuffs. A single mom ended up in handcuffs. That actually happened. She's speaking up. Yeah, we need to get the truth out about Kamala Harris and who she really is. And I must say, I am really proud of our community and how much our community has come together around this. The GoFundMe, we have gotten a lot of support on the GoFundMe, to get this book out, right? And I mean, 1,000 copies of this book are going out there for people. In our community, we have a good solid crew, 5 people that are in Chicago right now getting these books everywhere they possibly can. They were all over the protest that happened today. They were all over the Jimmy Dore show. They were all over the concert last night. Our people are doing great work in Chicago, and I am so proud of them. I must tell you, all of them. Shout out to all of you out there in Chicago. You're doing great work. I can't wait to talk to at least one of you later tonight when you get home. Just log in. I know it's been a long day, and they're driving to different parts of Chicago where they're staying, all that. So we really, really appreciate the hard work that our team is doing. We have a good crew of people at the Center for Political Innovation, I must say. We don't have a huge budget. We don't have, some, million members, but we have a dedicated crew of people. And I got to tell you, I would rather have 1 million dedicated people than I would have, I would rather have 10 dedicated people than 1,000 internet fans. Internet fans don't build organizations. It takes dedicated people. And that's what we're doing with the Center for Political Innovation. That's why every morning we have a morning message from a different member to support other members, to keep people engaged with the community. We do that every morning. We have regular Saturday calls, and we support each other, and we have regular meetups, regular events. We're going to have a workshop in the Midwest area this fall. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be inviting new people to learn what our community is all about. We're building a real network of anti-imperialists to carry out real operations, to really get things done to promote anti-imperialism. And we are producing educational materials like this growth booklet that, you saw Jimmy Dore had one today. Jimmy Dore was holding one today. In the photo. I mean, CPI exists to get shit done, right? And we got the Kamala Harris book out there. We got the Do You Believe in Growth pamphlet out there. We have a team of people in Chicago right now. We went to the World Youth Festival with Russian President Putin. We had an event in Los Angeles around peace on the Korean Peninsula. We intervened at the Libertarian Convention. This is what the purpose of an organization is, right? If you read What Is to Be Done by Vladimir Lenin, right? One of the founding documents of Bolshevism, and about what a revolutionary organization should do. In that document, Lenin makes clear that without revolutionary theory, there is no revolutionary movement. And in the pamphlet, What Is to Be Done, Lenin talks about how tailism is not helpful. And that's what a lot of people do. That's what I see a huge amount of. There's already a feeling out there. People already feel a certain way, and you just echo it, and you just repeat whatever everyone's already feeling. That's called tailism. That's called bowing to spontaneity. And that is what Lenin was railing against in his pamphlet, What Is to Be Done. Bowing to spontaneity. Tailism. Just if something's already popular, you say, I agree with that. You're not making a contribution. You're not telling people anything they don't know. You're not pushing forward history if you do that. The struggle of a revolutionary organization is not to just tail after what people already think. It's to actually intervene and push forward a revolutionary anti-imperialist message. That is your job. It is not to engage in tailism. It's not to just go along with what people already feel and think and think it will make you more popular in the process. The point is to intervene. So CPI, there's so many examples of us intervening when there has been a sentiment among the population, when there is an opening, we move in and we intervene. Great example. The Libertarian Party convention happened, right? The libertarianism is a very popular ideology among Americans that are against the police state, that are against the wars, etc. It is an incorrect ideology because it promotes the free market. It promotes a lot of anti-communism. It doesn't get to the essence of what the problems are. It's very confused, but a lot of Americans who support Julian Assange, a lot of Americans who are, anti-imperialist and against the police state become libertarians. So what did we do? We found out Donald Trump was going to be speaking at the Libertarian Party convention. We also found out that because of the important work we've done, and because of my important journalistic work and other things, that we were invited to attend, even though we're not libertarians. We were invited. Angela McCurdle, the chair of the Libertarian Party, is my friend. She's been on this channel before. I've spent time with her, hung out with her. So we decided that we had an opportunity. So what did we do? We went to the Libertarian Convention and we made a book for the Libertarian Convention. We printed 1,000 copies of this booklet and we just blitzed the Libertarian Convention with it. I'll show you the video. I'll show you the video of what we did at the Libertarian Convention. We intervened, right? We intervened at the Libertarian Convention because that's what revolutionaries do, is you intervene. You intervene when there is division, when there's an opening where you can talk to people about these kinds of politics. When the door opens up, you intervene. And so we intervened and we got it out there and we did interview. I mean, it was a great intervention we did at the Libertarian Party convention. Another great intervention that we did, there was the Rage Against the War Machine rally was happening. Well, Scott Ritter, our good friend, a great anti-imperialist, Scott Ritter, was barred from speaking at the Libertarian Party or at the Rage Against the War Machine rally. A great anti-imperialist named Scott Ritter wasn't able to speak. And we thought, okay, how can we intervene? What can we do? What can we do in order to get anti-imperialism, to advance anti-imperialism? How can we intervene and advance anti-imperialism? What can we do? Well, what did we do? Well, I'll show you what we did. Right? We saw that there was an opening. And so we were able to arrange for Scott Ritter to speak at a reception. We rented a hotel. We got the money together. We got the people together and we rented a hotel and we gave a platform to Scott Ritter. It was a great thing. I will show you what we did. We intervened. Right? When you're a revolutionary organization, you intervene. That is what you do. You find openings and you see an opening, a place that you can make a difference, and you jump on it. You jump on it. right? So when Scott Ritter, our good friend, the anti-imperialist, was barred from speaking at the Rage Against the War Machine rally, this is what we did.
This is a hero. This is a hero right here. We love you, Scott. We love you. Go ahead and give us some words. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. To be honest, I thought I was just coming here to a reception to say hi to people, and speaking is hopefully it's a bonus. Listening. First of all, thank you.
Yeah, we intervened, right? I can think of many examples of there's been a time that something is happening, right? And we intervened. So this time, the Democratic National Convention was happening in Chicago. We already had the great growth booklet that we wrote for the Libertarian Party convention. And then we had my book that got banned from Amazon. And so we decided to intervene. And so we printed 1,000 copies of this book. We printed 1,000 more copies of Do You Believe in Growth? And we blitzed the protests, and we blitzed Chicago with these. We got them to the Jimmy Dore show. We got them to the protest that happened today. We got them to the protest that happened yesterday. And look, I mean, people are taking note of it, right? The Bellingcat people are like, oh my God, I just showed up and there's Caleb Maupin nonsense being handed out. Damn right there is. Damn right there is, right? We intervene. This is what a revolutionary organization does. We intervene in history, and you don't intervene with internet fans. You do not intervene with internet fans. I apologize if there's anyone watching who considers themselves to be an internet fan, but if you're watching, I want to challenge you. I'm not here to just tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, which is I think you have the potential to intervene in history. I think that you have the ability to do more than just listen to me on the internet. I think that you have heroic potential within you. And my goal with these broadcasts is to get you in the struggle. My goal is to get you to be finding people and educating them. I want you to find your voice. I want you to find out what you can do to advance the struggle against imperialism, the struggle for a new America for working families. I want you to find out what you can do. And I want to help you find your voice. I want to help you find that ability. I am here to challenge you. I am here to pull out of you things that you didn't realize you were capable of doing. And that doesn't make me popular always. You know, I try to be nice about it. I'm not on here trying to be your drill sergeant. I'm not on here to, browbeat you into doing it. I try to be as entertaining and fun and all of that. But I am here to inspire you to take action. I am here to agitate the agitators. That's what I'm here to do, right? Because I think that you have the potential to become an agitator. You have the potential to be somebody who goes out and educates and agitates. And I am here to educate and agitate you so that you can go out and educate and agitate, right? That is generally what is considered the job of a revolutionary. Our job is to agitate the agitators. Our job is to educate the educators. Our job is to inspire the inspirers. Our job is to embolden the emboldeners. I am here to push you forward so that you can push other people forward and we can save our country from the mess that it is in. And I want you to speak. I want you to write. I want you to find out your own creative power. And that's what I am here to do. And that's what the Center for Political Innovation exists to do. And we're doing it. We're doing it. I mean, we were at the David Rovick's concert yesterday. We were at the protest today. We're going to be at protests throughout the week. We were at the Jimmy Dore show the other night. We're getting it done. And all kinds of people are learning that we have a message and we're unstoppable, right? And we may be a small group, but we're a dedicated group because we're not a fandom. We are not a fandom. Peter Coffin, my good friend, has done great work about fandoms. We ain't a fandom, right? We are not a fandom. We are a dedicated community that is trying to intervene. So we saw the Democrats are about to nominate, scary Kamala Harris. We saw that our community has done great educational work. And in fact, one of our books got banned from Amazon. So we intervened. That's the point. That's the point. And that's what it means to be a revolutionary. It means that you intervene. It means that you intervene. So right now, I actually want to show you. So just a quick reminder, every morning in CPI, we have a morning message that goes up on the CPI YouTube channel every morning. And we have those morning messages. And the reason that we have those morning messages is because we are there for each other. We inspire each other. Every morning we put our morning messages on the CPI YouTube channel. So I wanted to actually, I wanted to show a morning message from today, just so you can see. This is Rachel, member of our community. She did a morning message, and this is Rachel's morning message from today. We'll put it on.
Hey everybody, this is Rachel with the Center for Political Innovation. I'm sitting in front of my Celosia cristatas. I have a flower farm, and that's a good summer crop. Just wanted to give y'all a reminder from a friendly face that it is very important to spend time in the real world, meaning turn your phone off, turn your computer off, and either go outside and take a walk in nature, or cook some kind of dinner, or maybe you could learn how to sew, or maybe you could learn how to do woodworking or something. Even if you're not somebody who is usually creatively inclined, it will really help you. It will help you, I don't want to say conserve your energy, but almost build energy, because it's like so much of the world that we see on our phones and on the internet, it's like, you know, that part of it's real, but a lot of it is manipulated. And I mean, you could truly go crazy if you lived in that world all the time, if you had nothing grounding you to something that is real. I mean, look at these bees. You know, we talk about how, you know, we're humans are different because we can, you know, make plans and have goals, and you know, these bees, you know, maybe all they know is to collect that nectar and whatnot. But you know, I bet those bees, these bees aren't like you know, crying at the end of the day, or getting all angry and upset because somebody said something stupid on Twitter, which is what's going to happen. So I just wanted to share that with people, because when I started getting into growing stuff and growing plants, it was in my 20s. I really wasn't, I wanted to when I was a kid, but my dad never let me. But it has been so good for me to be able to ground myself in something real while I take on this task of fighting imperialism, because it's a task that doesn't just require, you know, work, like, you know, writing and effort and all that. It requires also like mental strength, and you will lose mental strength if you spend all your time online. Got to get out in the real, find something you like, and just enjoy doing it. So anyways, the bees say bye-bye from Georgia. I say bye-bye. Till next time. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, see? Look at that. She was just out in her flowers farm one day, and she wanted to inspire members of our community, and so she made a nice morning message. We try to have one of those every morning, but it's not easy, because every morning is every morning. Right? It's not just every weekday, not every weekend, not every holiday. No, it's every day. It's not easy. So we need you, right? And that's what we are here to do. We are here to engage. We are not simply here to talk at you and provide you with entertainment. We are here to recruit you. We are trying to recruit you to be part of our activist community of people that are intervening in history. And we need people to make morning messages. Gabby, who's in Chicago doing great work right now, she knows it better than everybody. We need you to make morning messages. So if you want to make a morning message, all you have to do is go to the link. It's very easy now. We have this great link, and all you do is you click on that link and you can record it. Go record one right now, right? More morning messages are great because it keeps people engaged, right? And that's what we're trying to do. We are here to build a community centered around anti-imperialism, centered around the struggle for justice. We are socialists. We are anti-imperialists. We are advocates of the new economy in the world that is based on growth, and we are opponents of the satanic evil pessimism and individualism and radical liberalism that is destroying humanity. We have a beautiful ideology, and we are here to build that community, and I would like you to be part of it. I would really like you to be part of it. So morning messages, listen to the morning messages every morning, submit morning messages. We need morning messages. We need you to get involved. We have a Saturday Zoom call every day. If you want to join CPI, go to the website. There's an email address, and we will plug you in. There is plenty to do, and we are here to bring out the creativity in you. We are here to help you find your revolutionary voice, help you educate people. That's what we are here to do. So I am going to put on some music. I'm just going to put on a quick, CPI video that I made of some of the stuff that we've done over the years, actually just over the last year. And then from there, we'll go on to another topic. Yes, that's us. That is our organization. So I just later tonight, I don't know when, it looks like somebody from the, from Chicago, one of our Chicago volunteers who was at the protest today will be jumping on. I sent him the link, and he'll be jumping on to kind of give us an update from what it was like out in the streets today. So I'm looking forward to when our volunteer joins us to give us kind of an update about what it was like. That's going to be fun. But for now, I did want to move on to another topic I wanted to talk about for tonight. And the reason I wanted to talk about this for tonight is there's a couple things that we can learn from this. So, first of all, why... there's all kinds of people who do hateful, nasty videos about me personally or about our organization, right? I'm not even going to repeat half the garbage that's out there. And I'm at the point where I rarely respond to any of it because it's not worth it. I mean, it's trying to change the topic. It is never serious and about our politics. It's never an honest representation of what we believe. It's generally only a bunch of gross, smears and personal attacks. Right? It generally doesn't even have anything that's educational. But my goal is to educate people. That is my goal. And so occasionally there will be somebody who comes along who's against us, who makes a point of being hostile to our community. And there's a chance that we can learn something by, giving a rebuttal. So, something like that did happen. So I don't know. You guys probably don't even remember, right? You probably only remember this person if you've been here for a couple of years, right? If you're a new person, this person doesn't mean anything to you. But Jason Unruhe, Maoist Rebel News. Do people remember Maoist Rebel News? Jason Unruhe, who was a friend of our community for a long time. But then he got mad at us for incoherent reasons. He got jealous, or I don't know what it was. I mean, he was never really an activist. And I think that's really, the issue. Jason was never an activist. And, he's somebody who calls himself, he's been doing communist stuff on YouTube for a long time. He calls himself Maoist Rebel News. Right. And, he's called himself Maoist Rebel News, and out of the blue, he decided to be against us, mainly because we were building an in real life group and he was sitting at home smoking a lot of weed. And, I had a debate with him, and the debate was, it was an epic beatdown. I mean, I will show you I will show you a moment from that debate. I think that was epic. At one point, he tried to accuse me. He tried to claim that my book that I edited, Jesus is a Socialist. He tried to, okay, hold on. He tried to claim that book was somehow a plagiarism. And he had no basis for it other than there was somebody else who wrote something vaguely about the same topic. And he thought he had me on the air. I don't know if you remember this, but he tried to own me, tried to say that I had plagiarized the book Jesus is a Socialist, this compilation of Bible verses and quotations from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, it was unbelievable. This was our debate.
Because the way you've positioned it is that if you disagree with you disagree with Jesus.
No.
Yes, that's literally the
Jesus
whole point of it.
In thousands of years ago. I'm using this book to make a point that the idea, which is widely believed among normal people in the United States, that Christianity and Marxism are complete opposites. This is wrong. And that if you're a Christian, you can be a socialist. And in fact, there's many things in the Christian teaching that overlap with socialism. I think it's important that we put books out this. When we published this, there was a member of our organization who's from a Southern family. He bought 25 copies and gave one to every single member of his family. He said, I've been waiting for socialists to publish this kind of material. There are people who got this book and they said, I have been waiting for this for years. For years, I have felt like I can't talk to members of my family about socialism because they have this religious block. They say, oh, socialism's anti-God. Thank you for publishing this. I have gotten so much positive feedback for pointing out that the Christian religion and Marxism are compatible. I don't see this as trying to frame myself as the savior of humanity. Maybe you got this book confused with another book or something. I mean, did you read this book?
Yeah, I also liked the original version by Charlotte Schnook better.
Who?
Charlotte Schnook, the one who actually collected all the quotes that you used in the 90s.
Who?
The one that you plagiarized your book from.
Who did I plagiarize from?
I've said the name Charlotte Schnook twice.
Okay, and how did I plagiarize from her?
Well, literally the basis of what you're saying, how it's Christianity is compatible with her. It was from her atheist writings in the 90s.
I believe it's from a lot of other people said it before she did. That's a very widely common thing to say, right? If you go back, there's a long history of Christian socialist movements. In fact,
and yet the organization is so very, very close. And regardless,
I think, we quoted from the same Bible, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I did compile these quotes from the Christian Bible. So, I mean, she probably used the same quotes as I did, but, Keaton's in the chat. He compiled the quotes. He helped me compile them. I had other people go through them. I'd be curious to look at Charlotte's book and see if she used similar quotes. But I didn't plagiarize from Charlotte. Did she have Martin Luther King Jr. in her book?
Yes.
Oh, she did? Can you have the title of this book that I allegedly plagiarized from?
Just Google Charlotte Schnook, SCHNOOK. Jesus was a socialist.
Okay, well, all right. So let's pull it up here. I'm going to. How do you? You said SHNOOK?
SCH.
SCHNOOK.
Yeah.
Jesus was a socialist.
I know because I know her personally.
Okay, so she had the same title. I see an angel fire came up. Jesus on economics, Luke 12. Do we have Luke 12 in here? No, I'm just looking. You're saying that basically because I used the same quotes from the Bible that she did, that somehow this is plagiarism.
Seems very much like it to me.
Okay, well, I
keep claiming it's your work, but there's nothing original in there.
And Jesus on war, we didn't use that quote. I'm seeing Jesus on public prayer. We made a decision not to go there. I see Jesus on punishment. We didn't go there. And I'm also not seeing a book. I'm seeing angelfire.com, Cello, Fantails, Jesus, the Socialist HTML. I'm not seeing a book.
Yeah, it's from the 90s. It was a very small. But
it would be you. It would be used. I don't see it on Amazon. I see
because it was published in the 90s in a very small atheist group.
Was Jesus a socialist?
So you can't find my books on Amazon either. It doesn't mean they don't exist.
Well, yeah, but I'm not understanding. So you're alleging that because we use the same verses from the same Bible, that somehow we did that. And I just read you that at least on the angel fire, she's using completely different verses and making completely different points.
She's making
And
most
I'll
of the
drop
same
link
points.
in
She
the
just
chat.
has
You can
points
look
that
at-
you're
you
not
can look
making.
at Schnook's work here, and you'll see that she talks about punishment. We didn't decide to go there. She talks about public prayer. We didn't go there.
You do talk about the same
I'm
ones.
gonna
She
drop
talks
it in
about
the
ones
chat.
that
This
you
is what
didn't.
you're alleging that I'm plagiaring from. I'm posting the link. This is all I found from Miss Schnook, and it's in there, and people can look at it for themselves and judge whether or not this is plagiarized. So there's the link. People can look. People can take a look. You know, folks, click on that link. Jason is claiming I copied that link, and you got this book right here. And people can decide for themselves whether or not me using it. Now, I don't see any quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. on this page of Charlotte Schnook. You're claiming there's a book that was published that also contains quotes from MLK?
Is my understanding, yes.
Okay, so
Well, I haven't read the book. The book can't really be found.
But you haven't read the book?
Well, no, because it was a very small.
So how do you know I plagiarized from it?
Because it's basically ripped from the website too.
No, there's many places. If you type Christianity and socialism, you can find these quotes many different places. The Bible's been around for a long time. So
and many of those are directly plagiarized from her work as well.
What, the Bible is plagiarizing her work?
No, dum. You know that's not what I said.
I know. I
said those other people that have used them.
I think anybody who would look through the Bible and try to, make a case that there can be overlap between Christianity and socialism is probably going to cover the same quotes. And I'd be curious now, if she quoted Martin Luther King Jr., you might have a case to make. That you said you haven't even seen this book
because the book is out of print.
Yeah, but you haven't even seen it. So you're claiming I plagiarized from a book that you haven't even seen?
No, I said from the website. I specifically just said that.
Okay, so you're claiming I plagiarized from this website, which I will post in the chat again, which makes points that we don't make, which,
of course not, because you didn't cover everything that she did.
Yeah, and we're making different points than she's making. And we're, quoting the same
No, you're
Bible,
making many of the same points.
She's
She's just made some that you didn't.
Yes, because we're quoting the same Bible, Jason, and we're trying to make the same
I know. I went to Catholic school for 12 years.
A few minutes ago, you said there were quotes from Martin Luther King in it, and now you've admitted you don't even know about that. So you just lied on it.
I know because I talked to her. She said she put in the book.
Okay.
I know Charlotte Schnook personally.
I'd like to see this book. I'd like to see this book. I mean, did she have an essay by Keaton Mansfield in there? Did she have the Eugene Debs essay that we included?
No.
Okay, because I'm not.
Okay,
I
don't see why his essay has anything to do with it.
At the first draft of the book, we included the full Beyond Vietnam speech by Dr. Martin Luther King, but we discovered that we couldn't republish that because it's copyrighted. So we had to chop it up into quotations. So we did that. We used some different quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but I really, so we've gone from I think I'm the savior because I published this book to
No, you're oversimplifying
this
it.
book. I mean, I've called, what have I been called so far in this debate? Piece of shit, dumb. Where's the anger coming from, Jason? Can you tell that?
As I have already answered that question, you know that I wasn't referring specifically, like when I
where's the
said
anger
people,
coming from?
when I
So
said
really-
other people, because you're a liar.
How am I a liar?
Because you're a narcissist and
I'm
a
a
goddamn
narcissist.
fascist.
How am I a fascist?
Yeah, that was a sad story. It was a sad story, but anyway, but Jason, I it's been a long time since I've said anything about him or really interacted with him or anything. But he decided to own me once again with this video, and I watched it and I thought, okay, like we can learn something as a community from what he says in this video. So I want to get a couple quotes that I've pulled up, want to get them lined up here. I want to get I've pulled quotes to explain what I'm talking about because it's important, to do your homework before you do these things. And he made yet another video trying to own me. And so I'm going to show it here and we're going to go through it point by point. The main thing that comes across in this video is that he's kind of frozen in time. These are the kinds of attacks I used to get like in 2018, 2019, he's secretly a Nazi pretending to be a communist, right? He's a Nazi. That I was getting that all the time, 3 or 4 years ago, but people have kind of backed away from that one. But I guess he's still like frozen in time. And it's like, well, Caleb says he's a socialist, but I noticed that his blog, one of the posts is post number 88. And we all know 88 stands for Heil Hitler. And so he's secretly, that kind of thing. I've gotten so much of that, but that's so 4 or 5 years ago. People just don't do that anymore. Well, Jason does. Here we go.
Has officially stopped calling himself a communist, even though everyone already.
Look how cool he is in those glasses, guys. He has to be right. So, I mean, he's Morpheus. He's Morpheus from the Matrix. So his arguments are 4 years ago, and he's dressed up like movies from 15 years ago.
He knows that he's not a communist, and he stopped being a communist when he formed the CPI.
That never, I mean, I consider what I am doing now to be the correct interpretation of the anti-imperialist revolutionary tradition. But anyway.
And we kind of knew after he was doing the whole sex abuse thing. So he announced on a stream that he's not a communist anymore. And, no,
I didn't say that. I never said that. I said that I am calling myself an innovationist because communism has many different meanings.
We can tell when you said you weren't recruiting from the left. So you literally...
Yes, I don't want to recruit from the small minority of people in America who call themselves communists because they are fringe and toxic, and they are people like you, Jason, and they are worthless, right? I do not want to recruit people like Jason. I would like to recruit normal Americans who want a better country. Yes, you are right. I am not recruiting from the left, right? I'm not recruiting from the small minority of people who consider themselves to be communist. I am recruiting from the masses.
Could not be a communist at that point. Now you kept dumping all of the leftist talking points and then cozied up the fascists and then said, it's not fascism.
What fascists have I cozied up to, right? I mean, I'm spending the weekend with the Ku Klux Klan and the neo-Nazis. I mean, come on, man.
Well, what he's calling himself now is an innovationist.
I don't want violence and chaos and killing. That's because I'm a fascist. I don't want violence and chaos and killing. Hate. I do not hate people. I do not want to punish people for having more privilege. I don't want degrowth. I mean, none of those things are in line with our beliefs. And that is why we hate.
What he's calling himself now is an innovationist.
I don't want violence and chaos and killing. I don't hate. I do not hate people. I do not want to punish people for having more privilege. I don't want degrowth. I don't want degrowth. Translate, rich white Christians should dominate. That is so classic. That is like such a classic bread tube. I said, I don't want to punish people. I don't hate people. I don't believe in degrowth. And he took that in me advocating ethno-religious supremacy for one race. That is, you want to talk about a stretch, right? I mean, that is some classic bread tube shit right there. I mean, that's like Vosh on steroids. I said, I don't want violence and killing. I guess, isn't that what Martin Luther King Jr. said? I guess he must have wanted rich white Christians to dominate. I mean, I don't believe in economic degrowth. It's funny because all these countries that break out of imperialist domination, all these countries led by communists that break out of imperialist domination, what do? They grow. They industrialize. They mobilize their population to build. So I don't think being opposed to degrowth means you want rich white Christians to dominate. I don't know where he gets this from, but I guess when you decide someone's evil, there you go. I mean, none of those things are in line with our beliefs. And that is why we are using the term innovationists to describe our ideology. We shouldn't have to do this. We should be able to tell people that we're socialists or communists. But communism and socialism has become... I thought I wasn't a communist anymore. Oh, well. Such a different and contrary thing.
And by innovation, we mean fascism.
Is that what I mean? I mean fascism. I mean, clearly. I even said in there that I wish I could call myself a communist, but that's become synonymous with some other things that I don't believe in and that the communist governments around the world don't believe in. And he just takes cuts from that. Oh, and he means fascism. I mean, this is like, so by saying that I don't believe in degrowth, by saying that I don't believe in violence and killing, I'm saying one race and one religion should dominate. And by innovation, I mean fascism. This is bonkers. This is like, I mean, this is bad even for him. I mean, he's got the silly Morpheus costume on
And I mean, this is very, very bad. I mean, he's really deteriorated, and he's not learned. Like, this isn't cool anymore, right? This was trendy 4 or 5 years ago. This is just silly now. This is like embarrassing.
Literally, it's just fascism. It's basically just a capitalist state, which he has said previously he's not against. He's not against capitalism.
We're not against capitalism. We're against imperialism. We're against monopolies. And as William Z. Foster explained, we seek to build...
Yes, exactly. And that's called Leninism, folks. And this is what I wanted to talk to you all about. This is why this video is important, right? Jason is stuck in this kindergarten phase of like, that's a capitalist and I'm a communist and capitalists are bad, right? Like, he's stuck in this like kindergarten phase. Well, I want you all to look at something, right? This is something that you would think that, Maoist rebel news would know all about. It's something that you would think would be rather important to somebody who calls themselves Maoist rebel news. But this is called the Chinese flag. Now, this is the flag of the People's Republic of China. This is the flag that Mao made for China when he became the leader of it. And what do the stars on the Chinese flag stand for? Well, the big yellow star stands for the Communist Party. And the 4 yellow stars, they stand for the block of 4 great classes. And what were those 4 great classes? They were the peasants, the workers, the urban middle class, and the national bourgeoisie. 2 of the 4 stars stand for capitalists. The Chinese Communist Party was able to take power because they aligned with the capitalists who were against imperialism. Yes, a Maoist should know that, right? That nowadays we're not just going around saying capitalism bad, socialism good. We are trying to build an anti-imperialist, anti-monopoly coalition. That has been, since the age of Lenin, what it is that communists do, is they build an anti-monopoly coalition. And that's what we're trying to do. And in fact, that's what the Chinese flag stands for. And in fact, I'll even pull up another thing for you all, right? And this is important as well. This is from, of all people, Stalin. This is from Stalin and his Foundations of Leninism lecture. He says, the same must be said for the revolutionary character of national movements in general. The unquestionable revolutionary character of the vast majority of national movements is relative and peculiar, as is the possible revolutionary characteristics of certain particular national movements. The revolutionary character of a national movement under the conditions of imperialist oppression does not necessarily presuppose the existence of proletarian elements in the movement, the existence of a revolutionary or republican program of the movement, or the existence of a democratic basis for that movement. The struggle of the Emir of Afghanistan that is waging for independence of Afghanistan is an objectively revolutionary struggle, despite the monarchist views of the Emir and his associates, because it weakens, disintegrates, and undermines imperialism. Whereas the struggle waged by such desperate Democrats and socialist revolutionaries and Republicans, for example, Kerensky, blah, 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 in the imperialist war was a reactionary struggle, for it was the embellishment and the strengthening of the victory of imperialism. For the same reason, the struggle of Egyptian merchants and bourgeois intellectuals for the independence of Egypt is an objectively revolutionary struggle, despite bourgeois origin and title of the leaders of the Egyptian national movement. What is Stalin saying there? He's saying we are not against capitalists. We are against imperialism. We are against monopolies, but we want to align with small business owners. We want to align with people who are struggling for the liberation of their country. It is about building an anti-monopoly united front, an anti-monopoly coalition. This is Leninism, folks. This is what it is always. He's got a very kindergarten level understanding. So we've got our guest who's going to come on here in a second. But I just want to finish kind of reacting to Jason's video, because it's like he doesn't understand
He doesn't understand that it's not just a game of pointing at people who believe in capitalism saying you're wrong. It's about a real struggle between really existing forces and the imperialist monopolistic order of international finance that is holding back development and leading us toward war and a low-wage police state. That is what we are opposing. And we are trying to unite with all who can be united to oppose that, right? And that what we're doing serves a real purpose. And it's not just a game of trying to be right on the internet. But let's continue, Jason.
That communism is supposed to be against, that thing that communism was specifically built for, to be against capitalism.
No, Marx and Engels, they were against utopianism, that change comes about through really existing social forces, through contradictions. And the main contradiction in the world is the domination of the world by imperialism. And imperialism needs degrowth, and it needs impoverishment, and the opposition to imperialism and the interests of the working class and the colonized people of the world against the imperialists. That is the main focus. It's like he missed all of this. He thinks that he doesn't understand what any of this is about. He's got his head in this kind of kindergarten understanding.
So what's left for him to do? Does he have to actually pick?
I don't know, go all over the world and meet with communists from around the world and be the leader of delegations to communist global youth festivals and publish anti-imperialist books. And it's like, I'm doing quite a bit, Jason. What are you doing? You're making YouTube videos, running other people down and smoking a lot of pot.
Pick up a swastika flag and wave it in your face before you get it.
Why, what is this? So now I'm waving a swastika flag?
Literally, he's just a white Christian nationalist. That's all he is. I'm
a white Christian nationalist. Yeah, that's why our group has done more than any other organization to support the Uhuru movement. While they're facing indictment, a group of black revolutionaries have been indicted by the American government. And we are honored and celebrated for all the solidarity work that we've done with the Uhuru movement. Our book that we are handing out, on the back of it, we put a poster supporting the Uhuru movement. In our book, Do You Believe in Growth from the Libertarian Convention? We've got, stuff supporting. We got a picture of Chairman O'Malley with Tucker Carlson, and we talk all about the Uhuru case. This is nuts, right? It's just like, this is typical bread tube. He must be a Nazi. You must be a Nazi. This is, yeah.
Globo homo conspiracy that's being pushed by the tech elite.
There's gay people in the Center for Political Innovation. There's also religious folks who are opposed to that kind of thing. And what's amazing about our organization is we have such people getting together and talking about how we can save our country from this nightmare, right? We're not talking about global homo conspiracies. We're talking about imperialism.
Except, Elon Musk, which he just conveniently leaves out of his analysis.
I talk about Elon Musk all the time. I just had a stream where I was reacting to Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
There's no accounting for it whatsoever. And the big conspiracy to turn all the kids gay by forcing.
When have I ever talked about a big conspiracy to turn kids gay? I have never talked about that. That is one thing I don't talk about on these streams.
Them to go to drag queen shows and numerous other disgusting lies that he's made up about trans people that I'm not even going to,
I don't talk about trans people very much on this stream, very much at all. Right. The whole purpose of our group is to not focus on these cultural issues and is to focus on opposing war and organizing a new America for working families. When the left started talking about these things, we started not talking about these things. So I don't know where he's getting this, that I talk about, about trans people, and we don't talk about those things. That's why we're, attacked by certain other people, is because we don't talk about those things. We don't talk about it Jason's way, and we don't talk about it in other people's ways. We're focused on bringing people together, and those are divisive issues.
Not even going to go into. But this is what we wanted, Caleb. Just stop calling yourself a communist. Stop making us have to defend our own ideology from you, falsely claiming to be us.
That's funny. The Chinese Communist Party is also in line with me and not you.
The Vietnamese Communist Party is also in line with me and not you. The Korean Workers' Party is in line with me and not you. The Cuban Communist Party is in line with me and not you. The Nicaraguan government that is Marxist is in line with me and not you. The communists in the People's Republic of Donetsk are in line with me and not you. The communists in the Laos People's Republic, they're in line with me and not you. I don't think there is a single communist government in the world that is woke, Jason. Not a single one. And every communist government in the world promotes economic development. Every communist government in the world believes in growth. Every communist government in the world is in favor of families and strong families. I believe homosexuality is still technically illegal in some communist countries. I'm not in favor of that, but I'm just telling you the truth. You know, Nicaragua has some of the strictest anti-abortion laws in the world. Nicolas Maduro is Roman Catholic. I mean, I'm just telling you, Jason, the entire anti-imperialist world is not woke and is not doing the woke thing. So, you know, I mean, if you're telling me that I'm out of step, I'm sorry, you are tailing after Western liberal woke nonsense that has absolutely nothing to do with what communist governments believe.
Now that you've done that, now that you've stopped calling yourself a communist and basically just admitted that you're a fascist, which we've already known, we can stop. You stopped being a communist, and we know that.
It's funny because I'm doing exactly what all the communist governments around the world are doing, and what they're doing has nothing to do with what you're doing.
And now I don't have to spend really any more time talking about it.
I wouldn't bet on that. I think give it a couple months, you'll be talking about me again, Jason. You talk about me nonstop. It's been years, so I would appreciate that if you stopped talking about me, but I wouldn't count on it.
Now he's just revealed what he is. Just a pile of human garbage. Just a conspiracy theory pushing. And remember his tweet, they repeatedly, and we know what that's a dog whistle for.
What is it? What is it, Jason? What is it a dog whistle for? We're not allowed to use the word they anymore.
We're not stupid. And
I must be stupid because I don't know what you're talking about. I use the word they in conversation pretty frequently.
Neither.
In fact, if you ask different conspiracy theorists, some of them it's the reptile people, some of it's the British Empire, that's conspiracy people use the term they quite a bit.
Neither are your followers. They know exactly what that means, and they know exactly what you're trying to say to them.
Really? Okay. There we go. You know, I've got followers that are of many different backgrounds and have many different views, but
and that does reveal very much about what kind of a person you actually are.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you, Morpheus. Thank you, Morpheus. So there we go. There we go. But anyway, I thought that responding to that might give me an opportunity to talk about how, look, we're taking this seriously. We need to rescue humanity from imperialism. But now we do have our, that degraded a lot of time. Yes, we're going to do something much more productive. We're going to talk with Phil. Hey, Phil.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Good evening
Phil.
From Chicago.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. And if I may, real quick, just give a shout out to everybody back in New York.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Well, Phil, he came to Chicago to help with outreach at the rally on the DNC. So I guess my first question is, what was it like out there today?
Crazy, absolutely crazy at the end of it. Myself and some of my compatriots were on the street, and the thing that scared us the most was like 20 Chicago PD marked police cars with 3 Chicago transit buses full of police officers zooming by us, and we just decided to go the other direction, safety first, and I was able to get in touch with you, and you had told us about, that some protesters had broken through, some of the barriers down by the convention center.
Yeah. Here, I'll put some footage of that on. It was pretty wild. But yeah, while we talk, we can just kind of have some footage of that going. But it was pretty wild that they had broken through the fence there. But yeah, when you spoke to people today, what kind of stood out? Like who was in the crowd today when you spoke to people?
Well, you had your, general, communist groups. CP USA was there, PSL was there, various other groups, some Muslim groups, it was a Peace for Palestine march, and I was really surprised that CPUSA and PSL, when they found out that we're out there, behaved themselves, at least in the park until, they kind of got away from us, but, we've only got 3 boxes left of books, which include the Kamala books as well as the growth books. I was personally interviewed by like 4 or 5 different news organizations. Some of our other members here in Chicago were interviewed, by other outlets. I know that one of our outreach people was interviewed by Do Dissidents.
Yeah.
And, I was actually one of the stations that interviewed me was actually a Arab English speaking network, so it's going international, with what's going on here in Chicago. I've been here, since Thursday. The Jimmy Dore event was absolutely a great thing. I came home and my sides were still hurting, from laughing so much. We were able to get quite a few contacts. People loved our books. I sent you some pictures, of us, kind of like out of the movement to the masses type, thing. Where we're actually reaching out to general people, people that are hungry, for an anti-imperialist message. I have more pictures, that I will be sending to you. I will also be taking more pictures in events, going forth from today through Thursday. I will be leaving Chicago on Friday, to go back to New York. And thank you, Kayla, for sending me. This is my first event with CPI, as a activist. And, I am truly, truly learning a lot. I am proud to be a member of CPI. I have been talking with people from various movements, and having, not everybody agreed, with my point of view, but we had a free exchange of ideas.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Can you tell us about some of the conversations you've had, maybe at the Jimmy Dore show or at the protest today, what it was like?
Well, there was one young lady who one of our, outreach team members got a contact of. I don't want to say her name because, sure, we don't have her permission, but, she was like, she was calling Kamala the spawn of Satan, so, we've had, a lot of different people, at the Poor People's Army last night. There was a rapper, that was out there, a young white American, from, I believe he's from Missouri, and, we got to talking and everything. He met up with us before the concert, we were talking, and then after the concert, we continued talking, very, very nice young gentleman, so, these are true, blue collared Americans out here, the working class, that have been forgotten, and they're hungry. They're hungry for a movement, that's out of the movement, but to the masses.
Yeah, well, I'm curious also now at the protest today, like in addition to the people that you talked to, and you mentioned the other communist groups or whatever, but I'm curious, what was the vibe in the crowd? I know it was a lot of Palestine signs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else, any other messages that you heard that people were talking about?
Well, it was mostly, a Peace for Palestine rally that we went to today. There was a lot of, stop funding Israel and their war. October 7th was a tragedy. Any loss of life is tragedy, but that does not take away from the genocide that is going on in Palestine right now. I was talking with someone, and, he was telling me that the Palestinian Health Authority, if you bring them, I don't want to get too graphic, but if you bring unidentifiable bodies, to them, they don't even count them. They're not able to, because there's no identifying, ways to identify them. So, the gentleman I was speaking to, I know, the local liberal and, mainstream media, says 30,000, but I was talking with a gentleman today that was saying it's over 200,000,
Wow.
Because they're not counting people who are under rubble, and, people that are unidentifiable.
Wow. Well, I did. So there was Dr. Cornel West. He was there. So I wanted to show the clip of him speaking to the media, what he had to say. So this was Cornel West.
Part of a corrupt Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party does not speak to the elimination of genocide, the elimination of poverty, the elimination of homelessness, the elimination of worker subordinated and so forth.
What do you want to tell Democrat voters?
Tell Democratic voters that you got to be challenged by the truth. And truth and justice finds very little space in a corrupt two-party system. The Democratic Party is living out an illusion, self-deception, if they think that they can enable genocide and walk around as if they have moral authority. It doesn't follow.
Dr. West, why are people still supporting Donald Trump and the Republican Party?
Well, you got a lot of different people supporting him. He's leading the neo-fascist movement. But everybody following him is not a neo-fascist. You got a lot of people who are deeply desperate, looking for an alternative. You want to move this way? They think he's the Pied Piper. And they think there's no other alternative to speak to their situation, their fears, their anxieties, and their economic insecurity.
Yeah, you see neighborhoods in cities like Chicago, and they're desolate for years. What has the Democratic Party done for black communities?
Both parties, absolutely. You got the big money and the big military shaping both parties in that regard. So you got a lot of folk who's following Trump who are really looking for another way. And here comes the neo-fascism, provides this other way. And that's very, very sad. That's some of us trying to provide an alternative.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, brother. Definitely.
Sir, can I just ask your message to Kamala Harris today?
I would just say shame on my dear sister Harris in denying genocide and enabling genocide. And she and I come out of a long tradition of black folks from both Jamaica and the United States, and Martin Luther King Jr., and Fannie Lou Hamer, and Malcolm X, who always made the connection between having moral authority, which means if you have any moral authority, you call a genocide into question. If you have any moral authority, you speak to the issues of poverty and wealth inequality in a substantive way and mass incarceration. So in that sense, I'm just clashing with Sister Harris. I come from out of a different corner of the black community.
And what do you need to hear from her at this convention?
It's not so much, I don't want to hear words. I want to see action. I want to see politics. Thank you so much, though, brother. Thank you so much. So, my brother.
How are you?
Good to see you, man. You holding on all right?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that as a Ukrainian American, I really support you.
Well,
I think
brother,
you're the greatest guy of all. And
no, we just in it together, brother. We just in it together.
Yeah, Ukraine and Palestine is the same. You know?
Oh man, whoa! Ukraine and Palestine is the same. I don't agree with that. That's crazy. But anyway, I didn't see that coming at all. I'm like turning that off. My God, you know. But anyway. So I'm curious if anything else stands out from today. I know you went to the Jimmy Dore show, and I mean I don't know how familiar you are with Dore. I didn't know if you were a regular viewer of him before or whatever. But what did you take away from his show in addition to the comedy? What did you get from it?
I just was laughing so hard, that, I really didn't, what's the word I should use? He's just a very funny guy, he did have Alex Jones on and was pretty, held Alex Jones to task, pretty much, there was a good give and take with that, and I just want to say one other part, we were discussing this last night. There was reports of the Chicago Police Department finding bricks, large pallets of bricks, throughout the city of Chicago, and the people, that I was speaking to, I was speaking with one Chicago police officer who shall remain nameless, that they found one pallet, but still it was along the parade route, the protest route, and they had concern, that, dissidents would be tempted to use them, to injure, bystanders or, the police. I have a little bit of a slanted view on that just because of my background, being an EMT, there was one pallet of bricks found, and, the Chicago PD, has not been very cooperative with independent media. I do, I write some articles sometimes for a first response newspaper back in New York. And, unless you're mainstream media, they don't want to hear from you, which kind of gives you the tone of the way the city and the police department are looking towards it. There's a lot of question as to whether the police and fire department is ready, able, and capable. I do know that there were plainclothes Chicago police officers, Department of Homeland Security, DOJ, personnel wearing the same vests, but with different titling, as the organizers of the protest today. And, they were warning people that there are police, undercover police and DOJ officers in the crowd wearing the same color vests, but with different titles, so, that's basically, how the federal government, the city of Chicago, the Chicago Police Department are handling things. They're sending spies. Hey,
so another person who's been in the streets.
I got a little excited.
Gabby is with us. So I figured we'd bring her into the conversation. So Phil was just telling us about the police infiltrators in the crowd who were dressed as protesters. He was talking about that.
Bad. Yeah, It's all, that thing that happened, was it 2 years ago? The same type of the same type of situation, I feel like. And I just wanted to say that I think I noticed from our group in the Midwest, like we all have a gift in here. So like everyone's telling me that I'm the name person because I really want this workshop to happen in October. So I'm trying to get names, and then other people are good at passing out the books and talking to people. And then it's like we're all looking at what we're good at.
Yep.
So that's why this is great work that we're doing, and we need more like Midwest people if possible. We have a couple people trying to sign up, so we have to make it happen. So it's something that I'm proud of, representing CPI and stuff like that. And I'm glad Philip came and stuff like that. He helped a lot. So we're gonna do a lot more this week. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I wanted to hear from both of you. If you could both share, some of the interactions, because when you go out and do outreach, you meet people and you talk to people, and it's important not just because you get to tell them our message, but you get to also hear what's on their minds and how they react. So, if you have any stories you want to share from your outreach, Gab or Philip?
Yeah, there was this guy. Was it? We're in the Jimmy door. Killian was talking to, and then I popped in, and he was talking, and he's like, this is great work we're doing. Like, this is great that we're trying to do stuff with it. And like, I don't know. I'm just gonna mention it. Like, we were the only people passing out books, so nobody else was doing other stuff. So we're the ones going on the floor doing stuff. So that's already a plus. So we are already winning. So it's like it's easy for us. It's gonna be hard, obviously, with the social media being rigged, but in-person groundwork is necessary for people who don't have the resources and stuff like that. So it's more for working class material and trying to accomplish that. And that's not easy because there's a lot of barriers and stuff like that. So we need as much as like support, as much as we can and stuff like that. So I mean, the interactions were kind of the same. There was Republicans there. There was, people with different ideologies. So it was a kind of beautiful thing to see because a bit of everything was there. So we were talking about different things and stuff like that. So I talked to kind of a lot of people, just like a small talk, and that's pretty much it. I can't really remember because like my memory's kind of like not good right now. I don't know if you have anything, Philip.
Actually, something does stand out now that I think about it. There was a gentleman at the Poor People's Army, concert last night who, when we tried to hand him a book, he's like, I don't want that. I hate Caleb. But I was able to pull him to the side and say to him, I says, listen, I respect your position. I mean, you may not like, him as an individual, but I respect your position. I still have respect for you as an individual. And he was like, yo, listen, I was in a bad mood, coming in. He's like, thank you for pulling me aside and speaking with me. And we had a good 5-10 minute conversation, and, it was a good free exchange of ideas, and that's one of the reasons why, I decided, to, join CPI is because of the free exchange of ideas, and CPI doesn't, discriminate or hold a grudge against other members of other parties. We'll take anyone, who is willing to get shit done, as you always say, Caleb.
Yeah, well, I'd just be curious. I mean, it sounds like this guy initially was kind of hostile, but then you were able to kind of talk to him, and then there was able to be some kind of human connection. I'm curious, did you find out what his issue was with me? Did I forget to tip him as a waiter at some point, What did I take his girlfriend from him in high school? You know, I mean, I'm curious, like what was the issue? But
you know, he was really vague. You know,
Okay.
he didn't want to get into, you know, because I explained to him that, you know, I was a good friend of yours, you know, and I was curious myself what his issue was. And he's like, well, you know, we just have differing ideologies, you know, and different ways of looking at things, you know. And like he did say, he says, listen, I'm sorry, man. You know, he says, I was in a bad mood coming into the event, you know, so, but we were able to have a good 5-10 minute conversation, you know.
That makes a difference, right? And the fact that you could react to his negativity with kindness, right? You know, that probably got him to, you know, on some level, I bet he's kind of reconsidering the way he sees, you know, us in general, because he's like, wow, that guy, even though I was rude to him, that guy was nice to me and talked, and, you know, and that's what was, I wanted to ask both of you what your impression was of the Poor People's Army concert. What was it like? Oh, you wasn't there. You were at the family thing, but I guess so. Philip, what was your impression of the concert overall?
We did a morning message with David Robix, and
that'll be up tomorrow. Yep.
Okay, and you know, the good Kamala, you know, you know, so you know, and you know, the gentleman, I got to meet the gentleman, you know, who heads up the Poor People's Army, you know, who's the head of the organization, you know, and like I said, you know, there was a white rapper that was there that, in my opinion, was better than Eminem, you know, even the DJ that was kind of like hosting, you know, the musical events, you know, he was like, dang, you know, white boy got some rope, you know, you know, I mean, you know, my area in EMS back in New York was Bed-Stuy, Bushwick area, you know, mostly, you know, African American and Hispanic area. You know, I was actually one of the first persons assigned to the station that I was at, you know, and because I was with EMS, you know, the community got to know me, and I felt safe, you know, walking down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, which regular, you know, in that area, you know, but, you know, they were so open to us, you know, there was a slight, you know, a little bit of a misunderstanding, you know, at the beginning, you know, but we were able to handle that. You know, the guy was like, yo, you know, come on in, you know, you're one of us, you know, they treated us extremely well, you know, and, you know, there were people with us, you know, on the outreach team, you know, I'm 53 years old, you know, so, you know, they were a little bit older than me, and they liked it. You know, I mean, because it was mostly rap music that was played, you know, besides David Robix and, you know, one or two other people, you know, and they were enjoying it and having fun, you know, which, you know, I was really, you know, I was like, man, you know, I've learned, you know, and I just want to send a special shout out to Gabby, who has been my compatriot this week. You know, I mean,
Gosh, dude, you're good. I appreciate your cooperation and stuff like that, and passing out the book. Like, you were on it on the Jimmy Dore. I was like, okay, I need to be on it too. I need to be on Philip's level, and Killian did awesome too. And it's like, I think that's why with CPI we need to have people, whoever's in CPI in their state, you know, start doing stuff like this, because this happened when we went to was it the conference in Oregon, and we all talk to each other, and with Sam, Killian, everybody, we're like, oh, I'm in Wisconsin, and then I'm like, oh, I'm in Chicago, and then we're like, we should start something with the Midwest or something like that. So then we just started it, and there you go. Like now we're good comrades, we're good, you know. I trust them. I trust them. They trust me. Like we could, share with things, what worked, what the strategies worked, what didn't work, and that's why we're doing what we have to do in the Midwest. But anybody could get started with it. Whoever's in CPI, and it's doable. It's not easy, but it takes a lot of effort. And I learned a lot. So it's it's not easy, but it's kind of fun. It's fun as well because I always love doing this type of activism, but I always felt like I wasn't able to join because I don't know. It wasn't like I wasn't in the universities, so it's like I wasn't one of those kids. So it's like
Right.
I was poor and stuff. So then it's like they look at you like you're not worthy enough. So it's like I always felt like that, but at least in CPI, it's like you feel worthy and you feel heard. So that's why I enjoy.
Yeah, CPI is not a college phase people go through. That's what
Yeah,
communist
yeah,
groups are supposed to
exactly.
do. You join for 2 years
Yeah.
in college and do a lot of protesting and you smoke a lot of weed and then you kind of move on with your life. And that's not what we're trying to do here at all, by any
For
means.
anybody, we welcome anybody. Doesn't matter what your politics are. It doesn't matter what your background is. Doesn't matter. We want you to work with us and we to work with you. So it's like, yeah, I kind of grew a lot learning. And then with Caleb's like ability to teach somebody like me, it's like, oh my God, I felt like excited. Like I felt like I was like, oh my God, like I felt a lot of things unlocked because I wasn't able to before that. Like I felt lost. So that's why like during COVID, I feel like a lot of people got into that depressive state. So like
Yeah.
I felt like that. So then that's why I did rely on the internet, unfortunately. So then I don't even know how I came into Caleb streams. And then next thing you know, I'm like learning and I'm like, oh my God. So then I became so like aware of everything. So now I can't go back. Now it's like I'm still trying to learn as I'm progressing in my journey. And yeah, it's interesting and it's beautiful. And that's why I do want to share and get better at this so I could eventually take charge in the future. Not, right now there's a lot going on, but it's something I enjoy with a passion. Like, I can't undo it, so instead I keep moving forward, that type of thing.
Absolutely. Well, do you have any outreach stories? Any fun stuff that happened at the door show or other times or?
No, that one story that some homeless guy got the books and he threw them on my face, like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna call the police. And then I was like, wait, I do need somebody with me just for safety reasons. But
Yeah,
then
you need a buddy. You don't want to do outreach
yeah,
by
I was just like,
yourself.
let me try it. Let me take a practice round. And then yeah, that was like, okay, let me just go home and reevaluate everything and stuff like that. But overall it's been pretty neat talking to people. I get a little bit nervous, but it's gotten a little bit better. Like, I just feel like I need to get out of my comfort zone. Like, when you don't want to do something, but then it's like, oh, you're forced to. Like, I don't know. I had to take a lot of responsibility very young. So, because like being a parent is not easy. So, like, I kind of think of those correlate together because I remember, like, I don't know, little things were like, I can't believe there's kids in their mid-20s, that can't do their own doctor's appointment and things like that. Like, and there's people who are just not able to do that. I'm like, oh, I could do that. Like, it's easy for me because I've been doing it for almost 10 years, becoming a parent young did help me do things like that, scared me, but it had to be done, and it's like, if it weren't that, I would have been somewhere else. I would have been, things like that. Like, so it's like that thing I had to grow very young helped a lot. So like that's why I like to kind of share my gift, and I feel like everybody in CPI has a gift, and have their own ability to do something in CPI. But it's not easy to learn your gift. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
Phil, do you have more to share? Do you have more anecdotes or any memories of today?
Yeah. I just wanted to say, we had a security meeting today, between our outreach team, just because of, the little bit of violence that has gone on so far, and, we just, decided to where we're going to meet up at, if we get separated or anything like that. So, there's someone, back in New York, and I don't know if you mind if I share where I first met you.
Well, you're welcome to talk about the fact that we met at church. That's no problem. But I do want to. You are mentioning security, right?
Yes.
And one thing I would like to urge you to do is, security stuff is not generally stuff you say on streams because it's security. Right. So, just think about what you might say about that, before you say it,
I wasn't going to mention, any of the plans, but, I first met you at church, and we got to talking, I didn't have the beard back then, know,
yeah.
But, I just want to say, to, a special someone in my life, and you know who they are, Caleb. That we are safe out here in Chicago. We do have protocols in place. So for the people, back in New York, I am safe. I got a great group of compatriots, who know this city backwards and forwards, and like I said, I've got Gabby as my compatriot, for this week, so, she's been absolutely fabulous, so to that individual, I am safe. Everything's okay because, he was just worried about.
We had to I had to take notes because there was a lot of things that happened. And, during the process when you do things, you just do them. And then we thought of it and we're like, okay, let's write some notes. So just for like that protocols and like what to do if something happens, where's plan A, where's plan B, like, and I was like, okay, that's smart. And then now we're like talking amongst each other a bit more. So that's why we have to really build connections within our group. So like I advise a lot of people to build connections in your area with CPI members and get to know them and things like that,
Well,
because
this is you learn by doing, right? It's by
exactly.
doing that you learn how to do, right? And you always get better, right? And that this is Mao. He has that essay, "Where do correct ideas come from?" He says they come from correct practical experience by going out and doing it. That's how you learn, right? So that's what's good is the more that you guys can go out and do stuff like this and learn to work with each other and learn to coordinate, the better, right? I know you guys, you were out there today, you accomplished a hell of a lot. And then I know there's going to be more protests throughout the week, and you've already got plans in place for different ways to coordinate and do even better, right? And that's the thing is you learn by doing, right? So yeah, look, we got 2 people in the chat that say they're going to join now, by the way. Sherry
all right.
And Dragon Progressive says he's going to join. So you guys have some charisma here. You guys are sharing the human side of what it's like to be in this organization. And I think
I'm so
people are
grateful.
getting pumped. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Gabby. Continue, please.
No. I'm just grateful. I know people think of religion differently, but I remember praying to God, like, he said it's going to be successful. I prayed before this event, and like everything going down, and like he's blessing everything within me and this organization. That's why I keep that really wholeheartedly, and I'm very grateful. And because just thinking about when I got saved and everything like that, people take it differently, but as I'm glad at least here I could share and people get it, and like in other groups they're very that was a pessimistic thought value, like you can't bring that up here, and like it's like very empty. But like I said, we have to do stuff that mean a lot to us. So this means a lot to me personally, and hold CPI wholeheartedly because you know it's a lifesaver for society, you know, and people don't look at it right now like that, but in the future I feel like we are gonna be the ones who are gonna, I don't know how to say it, like kind of save our country.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't take sides. We don't take the left, the right. You know, we want to just build human connection, especially the working class that have been corrupted for many years in the United States. And it's not an easy task. It's very difficult because you got people who have been lied to from the media for many years, and then they think that, and then it's like a lot of confusion. So it takes a lot of like I have to educate myself more with a lot of ideology and things like that, you know, and I kind of, you have to be how do you call it, vulnerable to say I need to learn this. You
Yeah,
know, you can't
true.
be like a know-it-all and be like, oh, I know this and like that, and like, you know, if you don't know something, just admit it and it's okay. Like, you know, we have people who will help you along the way to teach and to be willing to be wrong, you know, like there's a lot of times where I'm wrong, and it's hard for me to admit it, but then later on I'm like, oh yeah, I was wrong, so I apologize, you know, blah blah blah. So it's a lot of that, and and yeah, it's a lot of that type of thing that goes on in different orgs where people get egotistical and then that know it all, and then they think they're right all the time, and they hang around only yes people, and it's like, yeah, it's not a good situation. That's why we have to not be egotistical or be a know-it-all.
Yeah.
And I appreciate a lot of people here in CPR are not like that at all. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely great. And I mean, one thing about CPI is, I mean, you know, I know there's a lot of people in CPI that are praying for our Chicago outreach team, and I hope people hearing this that are religious will start praying for our Chicago outreach team if they haven't already. You know, and you know, I think there is a spiritual energy that flows through everything we do. Not everyone in the organization is religious, as I'm sure you guys are aware there in Chicago, but a lot of us are, and I think that what we're doing is a very, very spiritual thing. And I know that when I rediscovered my Christian faith, my views didn't change, but my approach changed. I wasn't motivated by negativity anymore. I wasn't motivated by anger anymore. I was motivated by a desire to make the world better, and that it was part of growing up. And I you know, I almost, I don't know. I almost feel like it was part of God's plan. I needed to, you know, go my own way to work some stuff out so I could come back to God, you know, and that, you know, I realized that was part of it. And I couldn't really, you know, have the relationship with God that I have now if I hadn't gone away first, right? I had to go out. There were certain things I had to go out and see for myself and learn for myself so that I could really understand them when I came back. And, you know, and so, you know, I know, and that's one thing that I've said is that, you know, everyone's on a journey in a different place, right? And I want people to feel welcome, and I want a community where people can work together and learn together. And one thing I have noticed is I have worked with different, you know, internet personalities, people that talk about these kind of ideas on the internet. A lot of them don't have that attitude. A lot of them really think they're better than the people who watch them. And, you know, and it's like they just have this kind of stuck up attitude, and they don't want to engage with people, and they don't want to work with people and all that. They just want to feel like they're important.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate because, you know, you don't build an organization with internet fans. You don't do it, right? You build an organization with people who can go out and do the work like you guys are doing right now. Like, I wish I was there right now. If my job situation were not as it was, I would be there with you in Chicago doing it. But my job situation isn't. But, you know, Phil was available, and, you know, the next place I'm going is I'm headed to the to Florida for the Uhuru trial. That's my next travel coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. Gabby, you're frozen. Gabby, can you hear us? Gabby appears to be frozen. Is she frozen for you too, Phil?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, Gabby seems to be frozen. Well, what else is on your mind tonight, Phil?
Well, I'm also planning on going down for the Uhuru trial in St. Petersburg. You know, one of the things that I can say, you know, from regaining, you know, my faith in God is I'm starting to reconnect you know, with one of my family members,
Hmm.
you know, that I've been out of touch with for so many years.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, the other thing is, you know, that, you know, I found a community, not only with CPI, but my church, you know, family as well, you
Yeah.
know, that supports me, that loves me, that cares about me. And that includes you, Caleb. You know, I've told you before, you know, I consider you like my younger brother, you
Oh,
know.
thank you.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, and that's, you know, the feeling that I get with you is, you know, that we may not agree on everything,
Right.
you know, but we can still look at each other, you know, and say, I'm with you know, arm in arm, lockstep together.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. And people need community. And that's the main
Yes.
thing, is that people need community. And that, you know, it's interesting because there's a YouTuber who's actually kind of a conservative out of Canada. She had a video about internet religion, how people adopt religions on the internet. And, you know, it's like people, they become Russian Orthodox, they become a Sunni Muslim, they become a Shia Muslim, they become this. And she talked about how that's not really the essence of any religion, because religion is about the practice, right? And unless you join a faith community and all that, you don't practice a religion by reading books about it, right? And I would say the same thing goes for political ideology, right?
Mhm.
If you want to be a Trotskyite, you know, you can't just read books by Trotsky. You need to go join a Trotskyite group and go do what Trotskyites do, and then you'll understand it, right? If you want to be an anarchist, you got to go find some anarchists, live with them, and do what they do, and then it'll make sense. And then if you just read the books, if you just understand a religion or an ideology on paper, what you think of it is going to be completely wrong, right? Because it's you don't really know it until you live it. And that I did not get into, you know, communism, socialism, anti-imperialism, whatever you want to call it. I did not get into that, you know, because I wanted to read books about it. I got into it because I wanted to have a community of people to live it. You know what I'm saying? And that in order to have a community, you have to learn to tolerate disagreement. You have to learn to work with people. And it's a little bit different. And I mean, just earlier on this stream, I was playing somebody on the internet. Oh my God, Caleb said he's not against capitalism. He's wrong. Well, I mean, I explained from my perspective what that's about. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's like, if you want to work with people, you have to be able to work with people. Gabby's back. Hey,
Sorry.
Gabby.
I just wanted to say that I'm just grateful for everything, and I'm grateful for the resources coming in for a real organization that wants to win, and we're just getting it done, and we just need the people who are willing to kind of be willing to struggle. Yeah, like you know, what's it, Fred Hampton? If you don't dare to struggle, you don't dare to win. Literally, you know,
Yeah.
it's not easy, you know, because you know, I'm a parent and like I've been struggling, and I'm not here to complain, right? I'm just here to like just understanding that struggle, like that daily struggle you face. It's the daily struggle that a lot of people face, and like once you see that, it's like you understand what is needed economically. So it's like you understand what's going on, and it's like, okay, so we're gonna sit here and let people take advantage of us. Okay, you know, you guys could let us never buy a house in our lifetime, you know, not being able to afford rent, not being able to afford food, not being able. So what else are they gonna take away from us? You know, like we have nothing left, you know, and insurance companies, all these other corporations, they keep taking advantage of us, and like when is enough? So it's like, I'm sorry, I was just going through a little thing. Let's just say close people in my circle, and my um saying, why are you doing this? Just stop.
Mhm.
And they're like, be careful and stuff like, and I understand their concern, but in the same time, who else is gonna do it? Like, it's just
Right.
frustrating because like, who else is it gonna, like, you know, they're gonna like get rid of all of us. They want to get rid of humanity. The whole degrowth thing is real, and like if
Yeah.
people don't understand that that's not real, we have to teach them that. Do you believe in growth? We need
Mhm.
to teach them that. So it's like that's our job in CPI, to teach them about growth in other countries, and what they're doing, and it's not the boogeyman anymore. That's why that's the beauty of the internet too. We're seeing in other countries how they do stuff and how they work in these socialist communist countries, and it's like, we're seeing before on our eyes what's going on, but they're trying to hide everything from us. So it's kind of like we kind of just need to move ahead and keep moving forward, and it's not easy because me, I'm the outcome of a public school person, so like I'm illiterate and things like that. I'm not the best speaker, but like I'm willing to try to share as much as I can, and this is the outcome of it. This is when you don't put money in public schools, when you don't put money in certain things. You get people that are illiterate, and it's sad because it's like it's getting worse. So people next to
Well,
our generations are gonna be worse because they're not putting their resources in education and stuff like
Gabby,
that.
though, I've got to tell you though, I'm just telling you this, and it's funny because we're saying this on the internet because I know this is something I would say to you in person, but I'll say it to you here on the internet, is that there are a lot of people that I know, and I think that you know as well, who think they know everything, who think that they can memorize a bunch of books and all that, who cannot do what you have been doing this week, who cannot go out on the street and talk to people about these ideas, who have never gone out and done outreach and could not engage with people the way you engage. You know that, right? A lot of these people that are on the internet talking smack about, oh, I'm so smart, I know all my communism stuff. They can't hand out a leaflet. They can't organize a meeting. They can't get a group of people to go someplace. They can't do that. So what good does it do, right? If you have all this knowledge, oh, you got this big stack of books behind you, but you aren't able to actually organize, right? You're not able to actually go out and get names. You're not able to actually communicate or engage with people who disagree with you or just people you've never met before. What good does it do? So I don't think you need to be defensive about that at all, because you can do things these people cannot do.
Yeah.
And I don't think you need to be
That's
defensive
just
at all.
been
I think
my
you're doing great.
insecurity, but it's fine because I'm now open about it, and I really could care less because I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, this is the outcome. Like, it's more of like I tell them, okay, hey, this is a demonstration of of when you don't put money in public schools or when you don't put money where it needs to be put in. So I'm more afraid of like my child and his generation. They're like, man, 2020 messed up so many people.
Yeah,
Especially
last time you
children.
were on the channel, you talked to me about Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah, like, and then a lot of things like that have been sold out, and then they have this thing called like this thing is like Ohio Riz, and I don't know, it's really weird.
Ohio, what is that? I'm
Riz,
from Ohio.
I don't know. It's like a lot of new terms, and like it throws me off.
Ohio
Like,
Riz?
yeah.
What?
And then I don't know. There's this thing called it. Do you mew? Mew is like when you do this hush and then you touch your chin, like it's some sort of exercise. So it's like they talk about a lot of this stuff, and like I'm all like, oh my god. So we're gonna have a lot of this generation of kids. It's scary because we need doctors, we need nurses, we need lawyers, judges, we need but we're not creating that. We're creating a cycle of YouTube influencers. We're creating things that are so salesmen, we're creating things that of advertising. It's not anything important, and like it's nothing that's gonna teach our children. Like it's nothing that it's oh my god. And that's why I'm scared. I'm literally afraid of our children's generation. Like when they get older, they're gonna be left with nothing. So it's more of like, that's why I do this, because I want my child to thrive in a country that is free. Like like I believe that we could thrive as a society, and it's more because of my child and other people's children that need to thrive, and like how we did, or not like how we did, but like better than us. They could do way better than us, but we don't. Our government is not giving that to our children, and like that's the saddest thing, because the first thing we should think of is the children, and the first thing we should give resources and a lot of things that our money is going towards bombs, killing Palestinian children, killing, the children in the Donbass region. Like, our money is going towards that. It should be coming towards our children and feeding them, clothing them, and all of that. But we have a society that's really messed up and is addicted to drugs. Fentanyl addiction is a thing. There's a rise on a lot of people who've been addicts, and alcoholism is real, especially in working class families. It's kind of like normalized, especially in like Mexican or Hispanic. We're like, oh yeah, it's that drunk uncle, it's that drunk, blah blah blah. But that's not normal. So learning of these other countries and how they do things and how they run their countries, I don't know, I think it was China, and I was reading one of your books that say like they have free like classes for oh man, was it like kung fu classes or something like that? It's free or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, something like that. But I remember when I signed up my son for that, you know how much I paid for a month? It was like $130 per month.
Oh, wow.
So I was paying that a month, and being a single parent, I don't want to like, oh, poor me, I
Mhm.
take that. That's what happened. That life happens. But when you don't make, let's say, enough money, and you have to pay $129 a month for those things, and then learning that other countries give that to children so they could thrive and grow as a child should be growing. It's crazy, like, and how our children are always left behind and stuff like that. So it's like you have these things that are so abnormal, and it affects me personally, and it gets emotional, and I don't want to get emotional, but we have a lot of children that are suffering, and
Yeah.
and we don't know the outcome of it in like 20 years or years down along the line, and it's the oligarchs that keep keep disrespecting us and keep taking advantage of us and keep taking away our resources that's supposed to be given to us. So yes, I'm fighting for this because this is something that belongs to us. It's not theirs, it's ours. So yes.
Well, let me lighten the mood a little bit, at least.
Okay.
So while you were speaking, I was listening, but I also did some research. I multitasked.
Okay.
And I found out the definition of Ohio Riz.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I put it on the screen here. So I found like a glossary of, they call it Generation Alpha terminology. Ohio. No, they aren't really talking about the Buckeye State. Unfortunately for Ohioans, Ohio has a slang meaning of a strange, weird, cringe, or dumb. The origin likely originates from a number of memes like "It's all Ohio" or "Can't even X Ohio" that circulated in the 20s. Did you see how she was dressed today? She's so Ohio. So Ohio is strange, weird, cringe, or dumb. And then the same article continues to define Riz, right? So, that's Ohio. Sorry. I'll do the other one. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. Riz, a shortening of the word charisma used to state that someone has success in attracting romantic partners, according to Merriam-Webster. He spent the entire party rizzing up the girls. And a rizzler is someone who is successful at flirting with people, according to the New York Times. So Ohio Riz would be if someone is strange or cringe or weird in their attempt to be attractive romantically. That's what Ohio Riz would refer to.
Wow, interesting. So, we're fitting in with these new generations, I guess. But look up. Do you know how to mew?
No, what's that one?
MEW. It's like you put a shush and then you put. It's so stupid. I don't even know I'm doing it. Oh my god.
MEW. All right, I know about Mew from
Mewing.
Pokemon.
Mewing. Mewing Riz. Oh, wow. Mewing is part of Riz. Oh, wow. Okay. Hold on. Right. Hold on. Right. So mewing Riz is part of a meme now. Wow. I can't even find
Yeah.
it. Mewing Riz meaning what are we? Okay. Mewing is a mouth posture or technique that involves placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth. It is a non-surgical beauty trend that some say can make the jawline appear to be more defined, improve sleep, and reduce mouth breathing. Others claim it can permanently change the face, treat speech disorders, jaw pain, or sinitis, but critics say there is no scientific evidence to promote this claim. The term mewing is named after the father-son duo of UK orthodontists, John and Mike Mew.
Yeah, it's very pointless, and like they have this thing called Giat, and Giat means like behind, but buttocks, if I'm allowed to say that. And then they have this other one. Oh my god. You're the alpha, and something. You're the alpha, and I'm the alpha. You're the beta, and like if you
Well, yeah,
get called a beta, disrespectful, but like it's very personal nowadays. And then they had this other one, oh my god, I can't think of it right now, but it was just like that's how kids talk nowadays. Like when you're out in the public park, you just hear them say Skibidi Ohio Res, and I know how to mule better than you. And there's this whole like thing of that, and it's so weird. And I'm like, I don't know. And like, I remember when I was growing up or when I was a teenager, we had like the YOLO, like you only live once. And then we had like, just it was like that. But then nowadays it's like literally Ohio. You're thinking it's Ohio, but it's something else. So it's like they have a secret what do you call it, coding for things, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of weird. And I feel pathetic knowing all of this, but and unfortunately I'm one of those parents that, oh yeah, you could watch YouTube. But I remember Jimmy Dore talked about somebody from that was suing Google and YouTube or something that put in like explicit messages in their, the 10-second shorts.
Yeah.
Something happened, and that guy, I kind of believed him, and I actually do believe him, but I don't remember his name, but this was like a couple months ago it happened, and I do believe that YouTube is doing something to our children that is abnormal.
Well, I mean, when it comes to the state thing, when I was in Detroit, there was this homeless guy. I had like an office. I was with an organization that was fighting against home foreclosures. And there was this homeless guy who would position himself outside of that church that I worked in, where my office was. And me and my coworker, every time we'd walk into the office, he would shout the name of a state at us kind of randomly. We would walk in and he'd be like, Tennessee, brother, Tennessee, or something like that. And so we started to kind of, we came back one day and we'd shout states at him. So when we walked in, we'd be like, Massachusetts. And he would like jump up and get a really big smile on his face. He really loved it. Like we were playing with him kind of, it was like a nice memory. And then, and then one time when we walked by, he shouted at me. Like we said, I think I said Massachusetts or like Illinois or something like that. And so then he shouted, man, one day I'm going to have a dictionary name like Texas. I'm going to have Texas. That's a dictionary name. And I'm just like, okay, all right, man.
Wow, they probably kids found out about that guy. Maybe they talked to him. Maybe that's what had happened,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you have to wonder on some level if people are just, they're having a good time. Maybe the guy was a little bit drunk. I don't know. Maybe he was intoxicated, it was high. Like that kind of thing can be funny.
Right. Yeah, so, that's the thing. Like, and it's like, maybe a lot of people in our society in the West have been doing so much drugs, alcoholism, that you have this behavior thing and this change of behavior that, it's normal and like, it's a thing. And it's like, I don't know, they keep changing a lot of stuff in our society, and it's very, I don't know. I think this is the downfall of the West, and it's scary because, I used to be the type who had that pessimism that like, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for the capitalist system to fail or whatever you call it. And then now I'm thinking of it, I'm like, oh my God, I live here. So it's like a bit
Yeah.
scary because it's like, oh my God, like it's gonna really, we're gonna go through a lot of hardships and a lot of things that and the thing is like maybe a lot of people will struggle, but like I used to think of it like this. I was like, oh, now the US is gonna struggle, ha ha ha. I always had to struggle, and people in my country struggled, and but like I would blame people
Yeah.
for the reasons of and it's like now I'm like, we can't let this happen. It's very frightening, and
Well,
having empathizing with other people and the struggles that the West facing. It is something you have to kind of think about a lot because it's like we have to care about our neighbors and people in our society. It's not easy, because I used to have
well,
that.
Gabs,
Yeah.
and this is, I just wanted to say to you, you know, I've had many conversations with you since I've been here, and I don't think you're illiterate. It may take, some time to
Right.
formulate, the right word,
Right.
or word pattern,
Right.
but you are not illiterate. Not that
Thank
there's,
you, Philip. That makes me
not that
feel a
there's
little bit
anything wrong
better.
with that.
Yeah, thank you.
You
And
know,
and on top of it, it's like, school's expensive, and like I have to pay out of pocket. And I was going to school, but like I paying out of pocket, and they did give me FAFSA, but it was like not enough to cover, even was it the community college, and that's why I'm like, shoot, I think I'm just gonna have to work my ass off and until forever. And it's like I'm at a point right now where I might have to find a second job or something soon because it's getting harder for people our age, and trying to raise a family. That's what we have. I'm thinking of that growth, like the what we could do to promote growth, and that's what CPI is. We promote growth. Like we have to have a family unit, and like and I noticed that a lot of people in the West or in the US had the mentality of like, oh, once you're 18, you gotta move out of the house and blah blah blah. And like, you know, that's impossible nowadays. I remember a lot of people who are like in their 40s, they're like, oh yeah, when I was 18, I moved out and blah blah blah. But nowadays, I don't think kids could even move out. But like for me, I'm Mexican, so we move out when we're like in our 30s or something, we even stay in the house because we have the mindset of like, like my grandparents, they came to the US, they bought a apartment building, and my dad lived in the third floor, and I had my uncle live in the second floor. So like, they paid the rent and stuff like that. But like it was something because we all live in a unit, and like we all have to work with each other, and we all live with each other. So like my cousins are my siblings. So like it's kind of that thing. Maybe that's the culture difference and stuff like that, compared in the US or something. But I see a lot of like, white people. When I was growing up, like they kicked the parents kicked them out, and they were only like 18, 19, 20, and they were like struggling. And I'm all like, I don't know, I can't relate because my, it's for me it was normal to live with my parents, and I still live with my parents, and I help them pay, rent and stuff like that. So it's like one of those things, like now I'm used to it because I can't live on my own, and Chicago is so expensive. Like studio apartments could run up to 900 to like $1,000 depending what area you want. And like it's a studio, it's not even a one bedroom. So one bedroom up north in the decent areas are so expensive, and it's getting harder. So it's like, I have to pay health, health insurance, dental insurance. I have to pay like all of these other things, and they add up, and like we don't have a normal life, and it's not fair because it's not our fault how crappy the oligarchs and the people in our government are running things, because it's not our fault. But that's the downfall of our society. We're not gonna have smarter, kids in 20 years. Unfortunately, they're gonna be talking about Riz and things like that are so unimportant. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I think.
listen, I know that both of you have work to do coming up in this week,
Oh
so
yeah.
we
I
got to
could
do
go
our
on
roll
forever.
call here because I still have to
Okay.
answer people's super chats. So I'm going to
Yeah,
tell
my
you both.
bad.
That's all right. You guys are great, and I could talk to you guys all night long, and that's
Oh
what's
yeah.
amazing about it, right? So I
Right,
look forward to
right.
having both of you back on the channel to
Oh
talk,
yeah.
give us updates. I know you guys have got important work to do. I know you're planning to. I think you're planning to go visit the park where the protesters are sleeping tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes because I heard the gray zone is gonna be there, so I kind of just want
Oh.
to say hi if they're there. I don't know. I saw a stream today. I thought they were gonna be there, but Max Blumenthal, he's like they canceled his trip or some. I don't know. Something happened and he couldn't come.
Mhm.
So I think he's coming tomorrow. So I don't mind checking it out real quick, and then I'm gonna show Phil around the Pilsen area. I do want to show him the Mexican area in Chicago, so it should be fun. And we're gonna be putting books at the park too, just getting to talk a little bit more and stuff like that. So this is the beauty of CPI. We get to meet each other.
Very good. And of course, if people are at the protest, look out for one of these. You can get a free one.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Phil?
I was just gonna say that I'm gonna be taking pictures of different areas around Chicago that Gabby takes me to, and when I get back to New York, you can help me put together like a morning message compilation.
Oh, nice. That'll be good. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Morning
All right. Well, thank
messages.
you guys. Get some
Yes,
rest tonight
sure.
and continue your great work. All right.
Okay.
Thanks. Yep.
Yoo-hoo.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody. Well, now we can do our roll call where I call you out as I see you. Names and locations, who is with us tonight, names and locations. I will call you all out as I see you. And then I will answer people's super chats before we say goodnight. So who is with us tonight? Names and locations. We got Fakayo from Montreal. Very good. Names and locations, folks. Names and locations. Who is with us tonight? Names and locations. Names and locations. Names and locations. Names and locations. Who is with us? We got Juanos. Juanos is with us. Very good. Richard Flagstaff from Arizona. Rachel in Winder, Georgia. Rice from Adelaide, Australia. Mariah in North Carolina. Denver in Minnesota. Jenny in Cincinnati. With that Ohio Riz. Terry in the Pacific Northwest. China, seasoned noob. Alex in Brazil. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Names and locations, folks. Names and locations. We got Gregory Duffel in Victoria, British Columbia. Earl in Dog House. I think you had a fight with Terry in the chat, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I hope you guys work that out. Names and locations, folks. Names and locations. I will call you all out as I see you. Sherry in Cape May, New Jersey. Welcome, Sherry. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Names and locations. Anybody else? Names and locations. Who is with us tonight? Names and locations. Well, I am proud of the Center for Political Innovation. I just want you all to know that. I am proud of our organization, and I am happy to answer this super chat that came in, but I'm sure you all have more things you want me to talk about. So if you have something else you would like me to talk about in the second half of the show, please send a super chat. Super chats not only give me something to react to, they also are a way of supporting the work that we do. Helps me pay the rent here in New York City. Oh, Gabby, there we go. No, you're great. You're great. Leonid in Los Angeles. So if you can send a super chat, get me talking. I only have one to react to in the second half of the show. I don't see any Rumble rants. So if you got something for me to talk about in the second half of the show, now would be the time to send a Rumble rant or a super chat on YouTube. So I did mention I was going to show the video of our intervention at the Libertarian Party convention. I'm going to put that on right now. And please send some super chats while that's playing. And then from there, I will answer people's super chats, and then we'll be done. So send me something to talk about. Give me something to react to, questions to answer in the second half of the show. Yeah, let's do it. All right.
This is our video from when we intervened a few months ago at the Libertarian Party convention and debuted our Do You Believe in Growth pamphlet.
Without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
We just got to the Libertarian Party's national convention. Look at that. Look at that. Here at the Washington Hilton. What do you think, Peter? This is pretty swell.
So far, it's been pretty awesome. Met a lot of great libertarians. Trying to find a home here, seeing if there's a place in this party for me. If a guy like myself who's kind of like a libertarian socialist of sorts, who believes in central planning, that it can work, who believes that Medicare for all is a human right, where do we have a home here? Do we have a place here? And there are some people in the old guard who don't like me, don't like my ideology. They still say that stupid stuff like, you want to kill us. Like, no, we don't. I got a lot of friends, you'll meet them. My good friend Caleb will be by. We don't want to kill you. We just want to find a way we can come together to fight back against this machine.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nick, and I am a libertarian because I am pro-peace. I am pro-whistleblower. That is people like Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, the Boeing whistleblowers.
Julian Assange should be freed, being locked up for heinous reasons. He has released information that has led to the discovery of atrocities in the Middle East and corruption all over the world. If we can't have good, actual information like that, there's no reason that we should have any free speech in the first place.
Free speech is under attack. He did nothing wrong. Reporting shouldn't be a crime.
Free Assange.
Free Assange.
So your button says abolish the FBI, abolish the CIA. Tell me about that.
Well, I just think we need less federal government and less federal agencies.
They're driving for World War III. They're attacking our civil liberties. They're allowing the United States to crumble economically. They're January 6th, they should all be free. Blanket amnesty at this point. The FBI made that happen. Sure, a lot of them may have done things they shouldn't have done or whatever, but when we know the government set that up, at that point there should be a blanket amnesty for all January 6th people.
So your buttons say abolish NATO and abolish the UN. Tell me about that.
Well, both NATO and the UN work for the military-industrial complex. They're both about spreading wars. They were established and they lie and say that it's about keeping peace, but have we seen peace? We have. There's not been a year of my life where the United States has not been at war.
I agree with the libertarians. Our freedoms are being taken away, right? I mean, the government is tapping our phones and listening to reading our emails and violating our freedoms left and right. You know, they had stop and frisk in New York City. That was a gun control policy. Yeah, right. Now they have these no-knock raids and all of that.
No kids in cages. They have abolished the NIAID, which you know a lot about, all these CIA covert wars. They even had a pin that said, no human is illegal. So there are leftist libertarians here, and it's kind of awesome meeting there, and this thing is just growing over here. This is the third party.
What are the disagreements within the Libertarian Party? Because I know there's a lot of internal strife and stuff. What's going on?
It's whether to embrace Donald Trump or not.
Oh.
Some lots of people don't like Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Some people like Donald Trump. That's fine. It's on a high level. It's a strategic difference.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people say that Donald Trump, his brand is eventually it's going to crash and burn. And where does that leave the Libertarian Party?
So we're in the hall where Donald Trump is going to be speaking in a few minutes. Who's going to give his speech in a few minutes. So big crowd of people here. Not all of them Trump supporters, I'll tell you that much. It's going to be interesting to see how the crowd reacts to Trump.
Trump has done a lot for the United States. I think he's probably the best president we've had, in my opinion, since Ronald Reagan.
Do you think he can stop World War III?
I think he could stop World War III. And I think when he was in there, I mean, you saw other countries respect the United States. Now the United States is a laughingstock.
Angela McArdle, chair of the Libertarian National Convention. Loud.
What a beautiful crowd.
Are you ready?
Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. You know, I also invited Joe Biden, and he did not attend. We have an incredible opportunity tonight, and I'm really grateful for it. Never in the history of the Libertarian Party has a former president and front-runner candidate for the presidency come to speak specifically to our concerns. Thank you all for making history with us. I want to continue this trend, so let's work towards that. I really appreciate you all. And without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Angela, for that introduction. And I am truly honored to be invited here tonight as the first president in American history to address the Libertarian National Convention. We believe that the job of the United States military is not to wage endless regime change wars around the globe, senseless wars. Biden's radical left Democrat Party is a fascist movement that wants to throw you in jail if you post a meme they don't like. They want to throw you in jail if you do something that isn't quite to their liking. And I am proud to be the only president in 70 years who started no new wars. I took on the military-industrial complex. I broke the stranglehold on neocons and warmongers on the Republican Party. And instead of war, I made peace in the Middle East, something nobody thought was possible, and dealt with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, where a nuclear war was guaranteed to start in a very short period of time if Hillary Clinton became president. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, so we quit spending hundreds of billions of dollars to fight other people's wars, and so that we start immediately saving thousands and thousands of lives. And I am committed to restoring peace and restoring stability. And if you vote for me on day one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht to a sentence of time served.
Ross is a campaign to pardon Ross Ulbricht. Ross Ulbricht is serving, I believe, 2 consecutive life sentences for creating a website where people happen to sell drugs and guns and things like that. But frankly, given the way that Facebook is treated or anything like that, wouldn't Zuckerberg be in prison for the same damn thing? Anyway, the campaign to free Ross Ulbricht is about the fact that he created a website. What people chose to do with that website is their own business, and he should not have been in prison for it. FreeRoss.org, check it out.
Right, and economic growth is what it means to be human, right? We were hunter-gatherers in the woods, and now, just 8,000 years later, we've invented space travel and iPhones, and we've done amazing things. And we, at this point, the problem is not growth, as some people would say. The problem is that we have a system where abundance creates poverty.
Yeah.
Poverty is created by abundance. You know, people are homeless because there's too many houses. People are hungry because there's too much food. Self-driving cars should be a great thing. In a rational society, it'd be great if no one ever had to drive. That human labor was no longer necessary. But in our system, that would lead to mass unemployment, etc. This is not rational. We need to do what they've done in China and in Nicaragua and other countries, rationally organize the economy so that small businesses can flourish, so that working people can have economic security, so people can start their own enterprises, you know.
I've heard a lot of libertarians who think China is good, who think Russia is good. Like, is that a common view?
Yes, it's like these are not our enemies. Maybe it's governments are the enemy and oppression is the enemy, and it is very much individuals unite.
What do you think of high-speed railway?
Oh, I love it. I love high-speed railway. I would love to ride a high-speed rail from LA to Las Vegas.
Very good. Yeah.
All right.
Be good for our economy, right?
Yeah, amen.
You like fusion energy?
Yeah, I love it as well. I've dipped my hand in the cooling tower reactor of 3 Mile Island.
It's interesting because, you know, years ago I wrote an article really criticizing libertarians. And I said, how can libertarians like Russia and China so much when both of those countries have a very state-run economy? And I got a very astute response from a libertarian. And they said, well, Caleb, you know, yes, Russia, their economy is centered around state-controlled oil and gas. China has 5-year plans and state-run industries. But you have to admit, both Russia and China have a way bigger middle class and way more small business owners than America does. And they treat their middle class and their small business owners way better than America does. And I thought that's actually a really good point.
All right, so we're out of all the pamphlets we have. We got the last stack of them in the car. It's been going really, really well out there. A lot of sympathy. What did you guys hear?
Really great things. I mean, people are very interested.
I thought people were really enthusiastic about this idea that growth is good, that we need to stop spending so much damn money fueling this forever war that rages all across the world.
The response to the leaflets and the pamphlets has been phenomenal. I have never talked to so many people who support Julian Assange, who want to end the wars. This is the place to be.
Yeah. Actually, that's one indication. That's one. They're pretty good. I mean, they're very interested. A lot of them like growth.
And then a lot of people that are libertarian, they see the government as a tool of the big monopolies to crush small business owners, right? And so I don't blame them for wanting to get the government off our backs, right? Unfortunately, I think that they're going to have to come to the conclusion that just kind of getting the government out is not going to cut it. They need a government that punches up, right? A government of action that will fight for working families. That's ultimately what they're going to need, and they're going to have to learn that through the course of seeing, you know, what's in store and as the crisis intensifies. But I think the road out of the crisis we're in right now is an anti-monopoly coalition.
And I think that a lot of leftists who believe in freedom of speech, freedom of press, and they're non-interventionists, they can find a home here in this party here. This is the third party, and this is the party of nuance, is at least what I say.
Angela, you know, I think that these are the people that are worthy of a certain level of, hey, can we allow ourselves to give these folks that are working very, very diligently a little bit more grace, empathy, energy, and support. You know, I mean, like I want to run that back. You're an adult male that is grabbing the mic and telling a woman in a public space, like, that's just low class shit. And I'm not saying like you can't think it, and I'm not saying you can't even say it, but I can say, if you're gonna say that, it's art. You're putting your art up, and the world can critique your art, and we're gonna critique your art, and you may not like the outcome. So those people are kind of special to me.
It does kind of confound me that you consider yourself a communist, and I really want to try to understand you, and I'm going to do my best not to put words in your mouth. I really want us to be an example for other people on how to have a productive dialogue, and I hope, you know, that if the communist revolution ever happens, you'll remember that, and I'll be one of the last ones up against the wall.
Sure.
But why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background, and let's kind of like dig into just like kind of the basics.
Well, I guess I'll start out by saying I don't think it's just opposing war that we agree on. I'm also against the vaccine mandates. I'm also against tech censorship. I'm against the surveillance that's going on and the violation of our civil liberties. I'm against the emerging police state. I'm against a lot of these trade deals that hurt American jobs, et cetera. So I think that there is quite a bit of overlap beyond simply the issue of anti-war. But I'm an Irish American. I'm from a small town in Ohio. Are you Irish as well?
I am.
Yeah, I years ago, I met an Irish cop in Cleveland, and he said that he heard an expression that when an Irishman gets off the boat in a new country, the first question he asks is, does this country have a government? And if the answer is yes, he says, well, I'm against it. So I think we're both true to our heritage in our own way. So there you go. That was our intervention at the Libertarian Party convention. That is why CPI exists. Let me repeat that, right? Is we see something that needs to be done. We calculate with our resources, with what we've got, with the people that we have, with the funds that we have, with our creative abilities, with whatever we've got. And we think, what can we do? And we did it. And so we had 1,000 of these to give out at the Libertarian Party convention. And then with the DNC coming up, we had a book that got a lot of publicity and a lot of attention. Amazon.com had banned this book. And so we printed 1,000 of these, and we printed another 1,000 of the Do You Believe in Growth? And now they're getting out at the events surrounding the DNC. We're doing it, folks. We are doing it, right? We're doing it. We're getting it done. And so, yeah, on that note, folks, I'm going to start answering. We've got 2 super chat questions that have come in. I don't see any Rumble rants, but if you got any more questions, keep them rolling in. If not, we might be wrapping this up pretty soon. The first one is Mariah. I wouldn't have been interested in CPI if not for the discussion of Christianity, because so many activists are raging atheists who are hostile to Christians. Well, thank you for saying that, Mariah. And, you know, I have gone on my own journey, and I had to deal with a lot of my own personal stuff. And it took me a long time to realize that I would never have become an anti-war activist. I would never have gotten interested in these ideas if it wasn't for my Christian worldview. And that the message of Jesus Christ is essential into who I am as a person. And even though I had to go on a journey, and even though I had to, you know, break with a lot of the, you know, the things I grew up with, and I had to go and see the world for myself, and I had to just make some real discoveries and learn about economics and all of that, I still have a Christian foundation for my worldview. And it was understanding that that enabled me to really do everything we've done. And I must say, you know, there is something spiritually different about CPI. You know, maybe you don't think that we're different than any other communist or leftist group, but we are. We are, because we're not trying to hurt anybody. We're trying to build. We are motivated by genuine love and construction. And that's why we're not part of the left, if you will. That's why, you know, I showed that clip. Someone was criticizing me for not recruiting out of the left. Yeah, I don't want to recruit out of the left, because the left is all about tearing things down. The left has a deep spiritual problem. And that actually 4 years ago, when I wrote this book, that was one of the main points I was making in this book about Kamala Harris, is that there is a deep spiritual problem with leftism. I am all about leftist economics. I am all about socialism. But for me, leftism is about building and constructing. I am a city builder. I am an innovationist. And I believe in socialism. I believe in the trajectory of human history that Marx discovered: hunter-gatherer civilization, feudalism, capitalism, eventually leading to socialism, eventually getting to communism. I believe in the power of human technology and the ability of human beings to reach a higher mode of production and rationally organize their economy. I believe that imperialism is the main threat to human development, and that the global financial system that holds back economic development and impoverishes countries and needs war to destroy countries in order to maintain its dominance. I am against that, you know, but at the same time, you know, there is a movement out there that spiritually calls itself leftism. It doesn't really agree with any of what I just said. They don't understand any of what I just said. They are just spiritually kind of embracing the aesthetic of red flags and guillotines and rebellion. And that is a movement that I don't identify with, and I have nothing in common with. And the communist countries of the world and anti-imperialist countries of the world have largely moved away from as well, right? You cannot build a rational society based on that stuff, that libidinal ideology. You know, the Oedipal and libidinal ideology that kind of defines leftism as we understand it is destructive, right? So, you know, the way that we have adjusted, and the breakthroughs that we have, and the worldview that you get in the books that we publish, and the atmosphere that you get when you come to our events is unique and special. We are not filled with hate. We are not filled with hate. We're not filled with a desire for vengeance. We are here to build a community of solidarity because we want to get stuff done. And we see that now is the time for people to step up and love their country and love their community and oppose the big bankers and monopolies that are trying to destroy it. And so, you know, we're doing something different here. You know, a lot of the beliefs are pretty much the same, and I consider myself to be, you know, the correct inheritor of communism. I feel like I'm doing what Hugo Chavez was doing. I'm doing what Maduro is doing. I'm doing what they're doing in China right now, but I'm doing it without the spiritual baggage of something called the left. And so it's a complicated conversation we're having here. All right. Can you recommend books that explain Ukraine's unhinged hatred for Russia? I could recommend some pretty good films. Go watch Ukraine on Fire. That was made by Oliver Stone. That's tremendous. I would recommend that. Some pretty good films that describe it. You can go read our book we published, Russia is Not Our Enemy. We published a whole book kind of on the Ukraine crisis. right? This is our CPI compilation of various articles and speeches that we've done. It's a great piece we put out. Russia is not our enemy. Notes from Americans who stand with Donbass against NATO, right? That's our publication. Many people in Russia really appreciated it. So I would recommend go read our book on the topic. But, yeah, I mean, there's, recent events, current events. It takes a couple years for the big books to be published about them. Yeah. And I don't think everyone in Ukraine hates Russia. I think that there is a radical anti-Russian minority that's been pumped up and promoted by the West. And that is who is pushing that. So very good. Very, very good. So, all right. Well, I don't see any more super chats or Rumble rants. So he is losing his mind. Who is he? Right. But yeah, if anyone else has anything else, feel free to mention it or bring it. There was some music I was going to play on these streams that I just never got around to playing. And I'm trying to remember what that music was because it was pretty darn good. I will say this, though. We do need people to make morning messages, right? I'm just saying to you all, hey, one thing you can do that would be great is if you could make morning messages, because we have to have one every single day. And it's not easy to have a morning message every day. It is a difficult task, but it's something we are committed to doing as a community. And I do a lot of them, right? But they shouldn't all come from me, right? And I worry, we have a good one for tomorrow. We have one for a day after that, but we want to stay ahead. So if you can make a morning message, that would be very tremendous of you. If you could make a morning message every morning on the CPI YouTube channel, we have a morning message, members of our community, supporting each other, because that's why we exist. We exist, to support each other. We are the Center for Political Innovation, and we're a community of solidarity. So every morning on our YouTube channel, 6 a.m., we have a morning message, and I would encourage you to listen to the morning messages. Go and listen to them every morning. Start out your day. Make it the first thing that you listen to in the morning. Wake up in the morning and go to the CPI YouTube channel and hear what the message is that day. We have messages that are all over the place, and that's good. But then I would also request that if you are somebody who enjoys the morning messages and you like what it is that we have to do, that we offer, I would encourage you to try your hand at making a morning message. Submit a morning message. We need people to make morning messages. So if you think you have something inspirational you could share with people, go ahead and make a morning message. That would be a really, really great thing that you could do to help our community and help, support other people, which would be a really, really great thing to do. I could end the stream now, but I feel like I don't want to do that. I feel like I want to keep this going for a little while longer, give more people the opportunity to ask questions and stuff like that. So what I will do is I often will download, music that I want to play on these streams, right? And then I will not end up playing it. I will forget about it, and then I won't have it to play. So I'm going to see if there's some music that I downloaded to play on these streams that I can put on for you, because there's a lot of different music I have considered playing on these streams before. Right. And I don't do it as I intended. So let me see what music I've got. There's a lot of music that I have played on these streams before, right? Okay. Well, one thing that just looking. Well, here's one we'll put on. We'll put this one on. I think I've played it on here before, but this is in honor of Rachel, who did her message about spending some time in the real world. And it's also in honor of Out of the Movement to the Masses. I am going to put on someone playing the classic country song, Okie from Muskogee. So here we go.
There was a guy at the bar said he wanted to hear a lot of Merle Haggard. Oh, there he is. There's another Merle Haggard song for you, brother. We don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee. We don't take our trips on LSD. We don't burn our draft cards down on Main Street. We like living right and being free. We don't make a party out of loving. We like holding hands and pitching moon. We don't let our hair grow long and shaggy like the hippies out in San Francisco do. And I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee, a place where even squares can have a ball. We still wave old glory down at the courthouse. White lightning still the biggest thrill of all. Leather boots are still in style for manly footwear. Beads and Roman sandals won't be seen. And football's still the roughest thing on campus. And the kids here still respect the college dean. And I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee, a place where even squares can have a ball. We still wave old glory down at the courthouse. And white lightning's still the biggest thrill of all. In Muskogee, Oklahoma, USA.
So there you go. I don't see any more super chats. So here I'm going to put on a compilation I made a few years ago called Martin Luther King Jr. was a Socialist. And this is Martin Luther King Jr. talking about economic justice. But if anyone has any more questions they want me to answer, now is the time to send it. If not, I'll just end the stream after this. But if you got something you want to ask me about, now is the time. So this is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Read one day, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if a man doesn't have a job or an income, he has neither life nor liberty and the possibility for the pursuit of happiness. He merely exists. Estimated that we spend $322,000 for each enemy we kill in Vietnam, while we spend in the so-called war on poverty in America only about $53 for each person classified as poor. The promises of the Great Society have been shot down on the battlefield of Vietnam, making the poor, white and Negro, bear the heaviest burdens both at the front and at home. The other thing I want you to understand is this, that it didn't cost the nation one penny to integrate lunch counters. It didn't cost the nation one penny to guarantee the right to vote. But now we are dealing with issues that cannot be solved without the nation spending billions of dollars and undergoing a radical redistribution of economic power. Yes. All labor has dignity. Yes. But you're doing another thing. You are reminding not only Memphis, but you are reminding the nation that it is a crime for people to live in this rich nation and receive starvation wages. America's opportunity to help bridge the gulf between the haves and the have-nots. And the question is whether America will do it. There's nothing new about poverty. What is new is that we now have the techniques and the resources to get rid of poverty. And the real question is whether we have the will.
All right. Okay, well, I don't see any more super chats, so I will be back. So yeah, we're always on here. We're always doing great conversations here. So I will put on the closing music. It's been fun. We'll be back. Had a nice long stream tonight. Had some good guests on. We're doing great work in Chicago. Thank you, everybody, for all that you do. Our community is marching forward. New upsurge in the struggle against U.S. imperialism is now emerging throughout the world. Ever since World War II, U.S. imperialism and its followers have been continuously launching wars of aggression. But the people of various countries have been continuously waging revolutionary wars to defeat their aggression. And while the danger of a new world war still exists, and the people of all countries must get prepared, revolution is the main trend in the world today.